Angela, thank you. Welcome in. Thank you for joining. This is Amazing Transformations. I appreciate you all joining. Angela, thank you. And now I can hear myself twice. I was sitting here just rambling on, talking, and thank goodness Angela came on and told me I was on mute. So, welcome everyone. Let me just do all of that again. Um, Farah, can you hear me now? I just finally took myself off of mute. I just wanted to see if you guys were paying attention. Thank you, Farah, for joining. Welcome, everyone. Let me know if you guys can hear me now, or I might still be having a sound issue. This is Amazing Transformations, and this is something I'm really excited to bring here to YouTube. It is an open forum conversation. This is for people who are interested in learning about what veganism is. It's for new beginner vegans, experienced vegans. Excellent. She can hear me. Whole food, plant-based. Whatever your vegan diet is, if you're an animal rights activist, if you're passionate about being vegan, if you're like me who follows a whole raw plant-based diet, which I've been like really, really getting into and loving the fruit-based diet. It's been really giving me lots of energy and encouragement, both mentally and spiritually. And I've tended to, follow this diet. I went through all the other, methods. I was a whole food plant-based, which was excellent. I mean, the benefits of all of them are very rewarding. They help in so many ways. However, this is how I feel best, but I'm interested in hearing you guys come on, share your what you've been eating. Are you having any struggles? Do you need some help? Maybe if you're a new vegan and you want to either in the comments or click on the link that's right in the top, pinned to the top, come on and say hello, join in the conversation, share your vegan business or your vegan YouTube channel. Let's help each other grow. Let's help each other get more people to get help, basically, because I found when I began my journey, I'm really passionate about helping people understand this lifestyle on YouTube, because that's where I kind of got my introduction to this. I've told this story many times, but back in 2019, I watched this documentary called Raw that actually Dawn brought to my attention because she was going to be growing some sprouts and microgreens and things like that. And she showed me this, and it was talking about people healing with food. And the whole concept, I know it sounds silly. I always heard you have to eat healthy, and my definitions of what healthy were really skewed from what I know that it is now. However, like, I never understood. I thought you just could go on a diet to lose weight. And I understood that sometimes people were put on different diets for medical conditions, but I've never knew that people were actually reversing and healing themselves by eating a certain way. And what I have really learned this week, or not this week, but like over this year, is that it's actually our body that heals itself, not even the food. The food is what we're getting out of our own way, basically, because usually it's what we're putting in that's impeding our body's ability. Our body wants to live. Our body wants to live in a healthy environment. Our body wants to live and digest food and absorb nutrients and get the energy and oxygen and everything else it needs. It wants to live. That's why, we remain alive when we're not even thinking about it. So if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Like Zip Hall, who I had on last night, he has done, if you haven't checked out that live stream, it was so inspiring. He is a young man who is reversing symptoms of cerebral palsy with a grape diet, and he also has become vegan, and he's seen improvements there, like cooked food vegan. And then he also has done some raw journey. He's went on fruit, and now he's on a mission because he had been in another vegan group where they were talking about you can do a really strong detox with grapes, and that's just amazing. He's seeing all kinds of improvements, even in his like posture. He's able to stand up straighter, and he seems so like inspired to come tell this message. I think he's been not only on mine but a couple of live streams in the last week. He's on day 119 of just grapes. And you would be surprised how, I mean, even if you're not doing a fruit-based diet, I find that digestion works so much better eating one simple meal at a time. So I want to welcome everyone. I know I kind of was talking to you guys, but I want to welcome in the comments Angela. Angela, how's it going? I know last time you were here, you were telling us that you were considering beginning a plant-based diet, or maybe you had just began, and you were asking some excellent questions that I know, like other people told me when they saw that video, that they were happy that you asked the questions, because some of the people on my group were like, yeah, I was wondering that same thing. So thank you. Whether you come on, if you want, click the link. I know everyone's shy. So am I if I'm on here. Welcome, Farah. I really appreciate you. Farah is from, I met her through Dawn in her trading group, and I know she's getting ready to, I think, do something on like watching something with Netflix, like a watch party. So she's not quite here right now, but she'll probably pop on hopefully tomorrow on our Monday vegan forum. And I last time we had Diana was here, Michelle and Muriel have been on here. Muriel, congratulations on your whole food, I mean your she did a 10, this is her 10th day of doing a fruit challenge, where she challenged everyone along with her to kind of have accountability to do a 10 days on fruit. And she was trying to reach like a weight goal. And you know, I found that I even had so many misconceptions about, you know, about fruit and fructose. And all my life I thought, well, you can't eat a lot of fruit. You can't eat a lot of fruit. It's too much sugar and this and that. And I've realized now that the fructose in fruit, it doesn't even require the same insulin that regular sugar requires. So, like, not to ramble on, because I always go on about diabetes because it's passionate to me, because some people in my family suffer from it and some close friends. So, type 2 diabetes, what happens is your sugar, when it goes into your bloodstream, it actually has to get to somewhere. This is a much simplified version. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. However, this is just from a lot of research I've done on this and kind of simplified it to the drain clog theory. When you eat anything, like as you're growing up, like whether it be a cookie or any kind of sweet, like processed sugar, um, or, you know, even if you already have a lot of sugar in your blood and you might consume fructose, what happens is the sugars have to go somewhere. So they go into your muscle and liver cells. And so this cell actually kind of is where it needs a key, let's just say. So the key is actually insulin. Now, insulin is made by the pancreas. So, like when you consume sugar, this well, like, you know, oiled machine actually comes, it like just starts working. You know, everything that happens to you, which I'll get into in a little while about immune response to certain foods, but everything that you consume, it creates a reaction. Just like everything you do, if you're moving, obviously your body is talking to each other, and it's, you know, okay, I'm going to lift this weight, so it's thinking, okay, I have to move that arm muscle. Like, this thing is perfect that we live in if we can give it the environment that it needs and trust it. So your sugar goes in, you need to get a key. So the pancreas sends this insulin to let it into the cell. So normally when everything is working great, your key lets it on in. Here comes the sugar, it's walking up. If you watch my video that's on the top of the page, it does a little cartoon type drawing thing to show you how it works. So the the sugar goes into the cell, no problem. No, nothing's blocked, anything. Over time, as you may eat a very high saturated fat diet, which the highest forms of saturated fat, which is one of the reasons I promote to everyone to try to incorporate a plant-based diet. If you it's really not as difficult as you think it is. It sounds hard, but like Z Paul was talking about last night, you know, there are tons of options that you have. Like when you think about it, when you're eating the regular three animals that we all tended to eat, what did we eat? Beef, chicken, and fish, let's just say. You had three options. What do you want to eat tonight? And always had to be one of those three options. Well, now this opens up a whole world to you. Like you can do some creative things. There's tons of different beans. There's, if you're doing cooked food vegan, there's rice, there's quinoa. And last episode I said quinoa, and I realized that when I was checking out the replay to find a little clip out of it for someone. I was like, oh my goodness, I pronounced that wrong, but that's okay. I guess we can say it however we want. That's the JJ version of quinoa. Who knows what I would call Joaquin. Wait a minute, is that his name? Yeah. If Joe Quinn, I might have called him. However, like I'm going off on all these different things. Let me get back on topic here. But like fruits, there's tons of different fruits. There's tons of vegetables and different things you can try. You'll find that you're more creative in cooking or eating because you are not just sticking with the standards, and then you start to feel better. So your creativity even gets even more. And most people that are like do this, they become passionate about it to want to tell others their healing journey or how they've found out that this happens in the animal industry. So whether it's for ethical reasons, whether it's for dietary reasons, I think that changes over time in your journey. Some people start for one reason and they find that over time everything connects, why the vegan lifestyle becomes so passionate to people. And I think it can be mistaken for vegans sometimes, seeming like they're always wanting to talk about it, they're pushy. But it's kind of like when you're passionate about something, whether it be your business or a new movie you just watched, you want to like project that out there to people. I am so thankful. Just have to stop and say that for Angela and Farah telling me I was on mute. Imagine, guys, if I had did a hour and a half live stream on mute. That would have been very, I don't know what the word is. I don't get as frustrated as I did pre-vegan, but it would have been frustrating. I've always been a pretty patient, like, person. Not really. I didn't, I kind of take things in stride and I'm very, like, compassionate, even if someone does something wrong. However, I feel like it's been magnified since I've been vegan, and then even more magnified, even higher on that vibration level since I've been eating raw food and fruit based. Anyway, so back to the sugar going in. I never finished. So over time, as you gain weight and you eat a high saturated fat diet, whether it be a lot of really bad fried foods or meat, dairy, a lot of processed foods have a lot of fat in them. Once you do that, your actual muscle and liver cells get clogged up with little particles of fat. I always remember Dr. Neil Barnard. Check him out if you haven't. He was really important to me in my beginning of my journey. I watched a lot of his videos, and he was also in What the Health. And I'm going to link that movie in the comments here after this live stream uploads to the regular videos, because that was such an influential movie. I didn't watch it till about a year after I became vegan, maybe a little less, but it was like, this movie will blow your mind what is happening in the medical, industry. Anyway, not the medical industry, but the food industry. So, and the medical industry, I guess, in a way. But he said he is a medical doctor, but became a plant-based doctor. And he's part of like an organization of doctors who are committed to sharing the plant-based message. But he was like, these tiny particles of fat get caught up in your muscle and liver cells. And they showed a little image of this. And, even in the video I made that I'll link here too in the comments, the diabetes video, I have a little image of the cell and it's got the little red dots of these little fat cells all over it. So when that gets clogged up, your pancreas, remember, is what we call the key, that the insulin, it sends that key up. And the key gets there and says, all right, I'm going to let all these sugars in that you just ate with that cookie or that potato that may have had natural sugars in it. And all of a sudden, wait, the lock is blocked. Something's in it. You ever had that happen? Someone like, maybe like either your lock's not working or someone broke a key in your lock, and all of a sudden now you can't get in. So then the sugar's like, hey, what's going on? I can't get in this cell. I guess I'll turn around and I'll go right on back in the bloodstream. So you eat another cookie or anything at that point that has any little bit of sugar in it, and it starts saying, whoops, can't go. And then the pancreas is like, why can't that sugar get in? So it starts throwing more insulin out, and then it's starting to overwork your pancreas. So everything starts to get clouded in the body, not because you've developed this disease that came out of nowhere. It's because your sugars cannot get into the cells that they need, which then, your muscle and liver cells give you the energy. So all of a sudden now you start to maybe feel lightheaded, or you start to have to, your body's trying to excrete the sugar. Maybe you're urinating a lot, and all of a sudden you go to the doctor, he tests your sugar, and he's like, oh, you need to now reduce your carbs. You need to now stop eating those cookies. You need to stop eating any kind of sugar. And some doctors even tell you to stop eating fruit, which once your body may already be overloaded with sugar, of course, they're going to say don't eat anything. So now a lot of the times you're taking healthy foods that you were eating, and now you're eating more saturated fat, because sometimes they put you on this keto diet. It works great for sugar. Yeah, it does, because you're not eating any sugar or carbs, but guess what? You're putting higher saturated fat in your body, more animal protein that is continuously clogging those cells. But here's the cool thing: when you actually stop eating the meat and dairy, which both have high saturated fat, when you lower your, you lower it to a plant-based diet, and you start eating more vegetables, more fruits, and more things that don't require that insulin, and you can still eat carbs. The carbs aren't really the problem eventually, because what the problem was is those cells are getting clogged. So when you take saturated fat out of your diet, all of a sudden those start little by little disintegrating. All those good foods are starting to flow through, and your cells are like, oh, it reminds me of having a drain. I say this in the video, that's clogged, and your kids start pouring their like cups of tea down the drain at the end of the night, and it's backing up, and you wouldn't say to them, no more tea in the sink, and just, okay, don't pour anything in the sink anymore. We have to cut that out because our sink is clogged. Of course not. You would take like a plunger, or, if it's really bad, you would get a plumber to come and unclog your drain. So, like a lot of the stuff we deal with, including heart disease, that is simply your veins to your heart and everything are becoming clogged with, if you've ever cooked, I used to cook those steakums. That's the example I always use. Those things, those flat processed little pieces of meat. Ugh, it just sounds terrible now, but that's what I was eating, and that's okay, because that's how we all grew up. I didn't know any better, right? And or some people might cook bacon, and the grease in the pan, if you've ever let it sit there, some people even just hang on to it in a can and keep using the same grease, which is great. Yay, it tastes great and everything. But guess what? That is what's getting clogged into your arteries. And when that happens, obviously your blood can't flow, and you're not getting all the oxygen to your body. It's like when we eat things that we're not meant to eat, our body reacts to it. Like, for example, if you think about dairy, for example, or meat. They're both very inflammatory. And the one reason is because I've been studying so much about our digestive physiology. And our body, if you compare it with all the other types of animals, like each animal in the whole entire animal kingdom is set up with a digestive physiology. Like, for example, when you maybe got a turtle as a kid or something, and you're like, oh, there's a turtle. I wonder if he eats this. I wonder if he eats that. Of course, each animal has a digestive physiology that they eat a certain thing in the wild, whether you're a lion and you kill another animal, or whether you are a rhinoceros, which eats only plants, whether you're a horse. A horse's head actually points down because he eats off the ground. Like, isn't that cool? Like the creator had it everything just perfect for everybody. And also our digestion is set up that same way. So like if you look at a bonobo, which a lot of people say is the closest. Oh, Angela, that's a great question. I'll get that in just a second for you. Thank you. Like a bonobo, which is in the wild, he eats a frugivore diet, which is a new term I used because it's like a subdivision of herbivore. So like in his body, they have a very short digestive tract, so it's meant for the, I'm sorry, a very long digestive tract. So when they eat fruit, the body's absorbing those fructose and giving it energy, and it's extracting all those nutrients like the vitamin A, the vitamin C, which whatever's in the fruit, and it's using all that to, restore the body. And then it's, eliminating everything else, and that's what's easiest on the digestion. Now if that animal were to be given meat, first of all, he probably wouldn't want it. But maybe if you did it like humans do it, we don't want to go attack an animal and eat it, because technically that's not what we were designed to eat. So like naturally, if we hadn't been programmed, and even if we are programmed, I don't know anybody that attacks a wild animal and bites into it. Maybe there are people, I don't know. This carnivore diet has gone a little berserk, so maybe they do that now. But most of the time, like hunters and things, they shoot the animal and then they cut it, pack it up, put it in, nice little packaging, and then we take it and we douse it with all kind of plants and seasonings, and then we heat process it or cook it, and then it tastes good. But that's like the exact same thing you could do to a plant-based food. You can take beans. I mean, I saw someone, I think it was Diana Varner, plant-based, made a meatloaf out of lentils that she said tasted just like it. Like, people are doing amazing things. If you're a good cook, you can do some crazy things like that. My diet is very boring. So when I watched someone said, "Oh, this recipe went bad," I'm like, "Oh, mine didn't. I just opened an orange." But that's not for everybody, trust me. But if you are interested in a fruit-based diet, I can definitely help you out with what I've been doing. Um, and so each animal has this physiology. If that animal were to eat meat, it's our long digestive tract. Things are getting stuck in there. Our pH level to break down things, we don't have that pH level to break down meat. And dairy is for literally for a baby cow. I know that sounds silly when people say it. It sounds derogatory, but think about it. Every species drinks its mother's milk only up into a certain age. Where in the world, in the marketing world, they got the idea that we as adults need the milk that was meant to grow a baby cow? And then our immune system is saying, oh, some people are saying I'm lactose intolerant, it upsets my stomach. Other people have these skin conditions, and kids are having acne, and you always hear, oh, that's because you ate too much chocolate. Well, it's not chocolate. Cacao doesn't do that. It's the dairy in it, because your body is providing an immune reaction saying, hey, I'm not supposed to have this. And I mean, this was mind blowing to me. When I was 42 and I was reading about this, I just wanted to tell everybody, I'm like, yo, I don't say yo, but if I did, yo, we're not supposed to eat milk. I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe I'm getting cool. I did just say yo. Um, let's see. JJ, would you recommend detoxifying before moving toward becoming vegan? So I feel like the body naturally detoxifies itself. Like, I'm not a huge fan of these really like big detox diets. I know there are people that are. But my thing is, like, we want to be kind to our body. So I don't think, like, obviously you're going to go through some detox symptoms, especially in your mind, because like you're so used to eating the same stuff. Like, I think we're emotional eaters. Like, I used to talk about this when me and Dawn used to sit down to watch our favorite show. There was a show that I always linked with eating Chinese food. And we would kind of, after a long day, we would come home and we would get the little dinner tray tables, and we would have our Chinese food that we didn't have to cook. And, that, to me, there was a certain dish that I would eat. And now what happens is, if you're not doing that emotionally, you're like, oh, wait, I have to eat something different than what I used to eat. So I think emotionally you're going to detox through it. But as far as like, taking, I would just start to take meat out of your diet. Like I did it like overnight. I went completely raw and I didn't have any detox symptoms. Now, of course, I didn't take like a bunch of herbs and, just drink water or tea for 30 days. Some people like doing the juice fast. I don't really promote juicing because I find that you're kind of not getting all the fiber, which, it tends to like spike your energy too much and you're not getting like the full effect of the fruit. Like I feel like the fruit is put together perfectly. The only time I ever juice anything a lot of times is I'll juice celery because that fibrous like outside is so hard and I don't juice I don't cook it. So what I like to do to keep all those nutrients that I like in celery is I'll put it in the juicer. But like I really think the easiest way to transition to this is to think about what you already eat. And if you want to go into a whole food plant based diet, then just start to buy a bunch of stuff to keep in the house that's like, staples like rice, beans, quinoa. I just want to keep saying that because I know how to pronounce it right now. You might want to buy like, the plant milks that they have out there or make your own. Some people do that and that they have like a way that you can do that. If you want, there's so many like vegan recipes out there. I mean, you can use, if you have to, some of the transitional meats or, you know what I mean? Like, but just come up with some meals that you can have, whether you're making like plant-based spaghetti or chickpea salad, seafood salad, which I have like just put a recipe up for, and get involved in vegan groups where they can, you can share, hey, what are you eating? Or watch these what I eat in a day videos. If you're going into a raw diet, I can really tell you what works for me, at least this time too, to like keep energy up. I've been having like, if you can just start out eating like a lot of fruit, that's going to automatically detoxify the body. So like in the daytime, you might want to have like, let's say if you get up early and you do end up eating in the morning, like eat some grapes or blueberries or melons, like whatever you want to fill up on. And hey, Danny, thank you for joining. And then like lunch, do like, or you could do oranges. I love having them like for my first meal. You could do like a drink that makes sure you get all your nutrients, or even they have them in capsules. Like we do moringa leaf powder, which has like a lot of iron and everything. So that way you're making sure you're getting your nutrients. I recommend, you probably have enough stores of B12 in the beginning, but I would just start getting in the habit. I say better to be safe than sorry. Take the B12 because the better you feel in that beginning of your journey, you're going to stick with it. And then like, the next thing you can have, like I like when it comes to like dinner time, just kind of fill up on fruit during the day every time you're hungry. One fruit at a time will really help your digestion and your energy. Like if you want to sit down and have like 3 oranges, go ahead and have 3 oranges. If you want for lunch to have half a bag of grapes, do that. It's gonna feel a little funny at first, but you got to let your taste get into it. Some people at lunch, you might want to have a salad. And what I've been doing is having, if you have like lettuce, if you do avocado is kind of or walnuts or both. Walnuts has the best ratio of omegas, but avocado, especially if you don't have a lot of like tropical fatty fruits, as they call it, like, if you don't eat coconuts or durians and things like that, which are kind of like exotic for me because I don't eat a lot of that. So I do avocados. Walnuts, like you could do cucumbers, they're really good and hydrating, and whatever you like I don't tend to eat any thing like peppers or onions, but Dawn loves that and she's been having a salad with those. And so like, do like a big salad and something that's gonna like fill you up. And some people like to go like raw till 4, so they'll do all the raw vegetables and fruits during the day, and then they'll eat like a whole food plant-based cooked meal at night. Like maybe you have some zucchini noodles with with some kind of sauce on it, like a vegan tomato based sauce. Most tomato sauce is obviously vegan. Or you could have like but some people don't eat tomatoes too, because they're like considered like nightshade type fruits that might cause them an inflammation, or some people just, don't eat tomatoes or peppers. So if you have that type of diet, you could have like a nice big pot of like great northern beans with rice, or you could make like a vegan meatloaf, or you could have just like vegetables with rice and some type of tofu some people like, which is, you can make that pretty much like any meat. And then, but what I do is I do fruit all day, and then I do this big like lettuce, avocados, and then I'll do like a dessert of like bananas. Sometimes I do bananas and this organic vanilla almond milk, and maybe blueberries. Like you can just make it like ice cream. And I don't have my cup in here, but I've found that like I like things like room temperature, but you can even like chill it. Some people get these like nice cream makers. I just have a little cup that you put in the freezer, and you can put all your ingredients in it right from your blender or food processor, and it tastes good. It's kind of like a dessert, and that is really like filling for me. And then I also have this new thing I've been taking called Daily Green Boost, which is barley juice powder in the like earlier in the day, or maybe for my first meal a lot of times, or second, I'll put that with like 3 bananas. It's like a powder, and mix it up, and it tastes good with bananas. It does not taste good with avocados. I'm just telling you. I tried that once because I thought it might taste like, or you could have vegan sushi roll. Like you can put a bunch of vegetables, or even have, like if you order out, you could have avocado and cucumber. You could just have avocado wrapped in seaweed. That's a raw, thing you could do. Like I mean, I could go on about options like that for a long time, but you'll find that you'll start to get really creative. And some people even they make wraps in the dehydrator that you can use. I mean, if you're doing cooked food vegan, they have this stuff called Ezekiel bread that a lot of people eat. I was taking that, putting it in the toaster, and then putting like vegan like spread on it, and oil or butter and cinnamon, or you could do it without the oil if you're trying to not do that, and putting a little bit of cinnamon on it for like a dessert. It tasted literally like cake. There's just a lot of some people. There's a guy, Healthy Vegan Eating, I think that's his name, or Healthy Vegan Living. And he does these unbelievable recipes where he used only whole food. He does like a ground meat out of like literally, I think it's walnuts and other vegetables, and it's just amazing. You can get the vegan ground meat if you're doing cooked, or if you're doing raw, you can even use a dehydrator to make, like if you want some variety of something, you want a plant-based, wrap or pizza that you don't want to eat actual bread. um, Potatoes, that's another thing. If you're cooked vegan, potatoes are a good staple, sweet potatoes. We've done whole vegan Thanksgiving dinners before. But what I would do if I were you, if you're interested in going raw, I actually have like a little meal plan I can even, like I was telling you, send over to you. And you could do that to like start out at least, and see if you like it, or do it till 4 and then do like a cooked meal. And that's how I would transition into it. I wouldn't truly like shock your body. Now, if you're trying to like heal something, I would say definitely try to either have all raw or mostly raw, but definitely just get your mind around taking out the dairy and taking out the meat. Just eliminating those two things is going to make you feel better. Isn't he amazing? I don't think my voice will ever get as deep as his, even if I become a plant-based chef. Angela said she's watched Healthy Vegan Eating. Yes, and I have a interview he's going to be doing with me. I don't know when. He's going to wait until his app opens up. Or it might be already up now, but we had to cancel around the holiday. He had something that came up, but when he's coming on, I'll make sure I alert everyone. Angela, I don't know if last time I shared it with you, but if not, definitely join in the Vegan Knowledge. If you're on Facebook, join there, because I'm always constantly sharing like what I ate and like new things I've discovered, and also like other people's channels. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Angela said, I'll email you for the recipes. You make that easier for me. I've been forgetting to put you guys' messages up on the screen. People are probably wondering what I'm reading. Oh, never mind. They come up. I forgot I figured out how to make them come up on the side here. I thought only I could see them. Like, people might be thinking I'm making up that people are commenting if I don't put them up here. I'm just kidding. Um, JJ's going nuts. She's talking to herself. But yeah, that's awesome. I get so excited when people become like vegan, or they start to see like health changes and they start to feel better, because it's like almost um like you keep telling someone something but you don't like push them to do it, or someone sees one of my YouTubes and I'm like, I'm doing for that person, like giving back what that YouTube video did for me in the very beginning. Because um I had, for anybody new who's catching the replay, or I think most people here already, I already told you, but like previous to that first month I was vegan, plant-based, I had probably other conditions like pre-diabetes too, I'm sure, because now that I know a lot about health, I realized that I was following in those footsteps, because I was overweight, for at least, how much I weigh. I was the highest I'd ever been. I had severe back pain every day. I would wake up, people would tag me and stuff, like my mom would tag me, and like if they saw something that had like a thing to massage your back, or um I had allergies. Like, it was just like funny, because I remember mom tagging me in something one time where a lady had a hat that she wore, and then there was a toilet paper roll hanging, and that way you could just go ahead and like wipe your nose with the tissue as you needed it. Like, and so I was just known, like I always had like, allergies during allergy season, and sometimes like throughout the year. I was starting in my like early 40s to like get these bronchial issues. And so within like that first 30 days, I noticed that, and I hadn't lost a ton of weight yet, but my back pain, I think it was inflammation, honestly, that I had no idea what I ate connected to my back pain. And I started feeling like, wow, I didn't have to get up this morning and get on an exercise bike to stretch out, because mine wasn't one of those where I couldn't move. It was one of those that pretty much if I sat still, or when I first woke up after sleeping, it was like something was just like squeezing the muscles in the upper left part of my back. And one of the places I had it looked at told me that my spine was kind of like curved just a little bit, enough to pull those ligaments over, or whatever's back there. And so that's what I did. What By stretching it, I was kind of, moving them, so it was loosening up. So it was like, but that went away. So whatever happened, whatever they were saying, I don't know, like I guess maybe the inflammation was causing those to like flare up, because I don't have that anymore. There is no pain at all in my back after dealing with it for about 15 years, getting progressively worse. It just went away in 30 days. And that's one of the reasons. That's when I started the Facebook group. I was like, I gotta tell people about this. And then I realized everybody was just rolling their eyes like, okay, JJ, I'm not giving up meat. But thank goodness everyone here is, by the time you've clicked on a channel called Veganology, you must be already kind of ready to at least explore it. I'm like, you don't have to do it, but just put more, fruits and vegetables in your life. Take out some of the meals per week. You're automatically going to reduce the saturated fat, even if you are someone who is, I don't like, I used to, I mean, I have videos on my page where I did my top meat replacements and my top dairy replacements when I went through that phase. I loved Hellman's Vegan Mayo. I loved, what do you call it, like the Beyond Meat and all of that. And I still like the taste of all of that, but I realized that if I want to promote people to get to their best health, that's like a level down from whole food plant-based. So I stopped like recommending a lot of that. But I do think it's good if you're making a holiday meal for your workplace and you want to make it plant-based. I mean, yeah, grab that ground meat and make your lasagna. Your Gardein makes a lot of great products. You could make chicken parm with them. I mean, if you do that, you're at least still eliminating the really high immune reactions of the meat and dairy. That still might improve your health. But to get like to your optimal health, I would do the whole foods that aren't even processed. And there's tons of recipes, like you saw Angela on Healthy Vegan Eating. He does recipes where he's using a mushroom. Tabitha Brown, if you haven't checked her out yet, that's excellent. There's a lot of, also like Jillian does raw recipes sometimes. She just interviewed her daughter May, and it was so cute. Her daughter's been watching her, I guess, and the one other daughter, she doesn't, subscribe to anything that has to do with plant-based. She's still not eating healthy, but this, she's like 11, I think, her daughter May, and she came on and did an interview with her, similar to like, what I do here, but she's in person, and it was so cute. And she was talking about how she feels energy, and she didn't even care that the other kids were eating other stuff. She knows that that's not meant for her body, and she's all excited about this new plant-based diet that she's into. And I just thought that was great, like to let people know how kids are like watching us. And the earlier you can start your kids on that, think about if we didn't have to get rid of all those like emotional addictions to food, or that programming that we need milk for this or that, and we're supposed to be eating meat for protein. I never realized too that everything has protein in it, like a little bit of protein. So that's why people that eat vegan aren't ever protein deficient. Like no one ever says, I don't have enough protein. I mean, there are people who like more of it. Maybe like if they're bodybuilding and stuff, I've noticed a lot of those guys tend to use like a protein powder, or they eat a lot more maybe tofu and things, or beans. Like Jeff Palmer is a bodybuilder who's been vegan for 30 years, and he's got huge muscles. So it's like there's a lot of myths with this that the world still, we need to kind of diminish. And it's like this little community of people who kind of, I feel like, know they're healing, and they're like feeling better, and they're feeling like better spiritually, emotionally, with better health. And it's like, I just want everyone to know that it's out there. Like my thing is, I'm not going to push people. I respect exactly whatever you want to do, because you're the same person I was in 2019. We thought that, this is how I eat. I'm never changing the way I eat. But then when with new knowledge comes a shift in thought, and sometimes it takes like years to shift your thinking to like, yeah, I think I want to try that. So like, I just feel like the regular mainstream is never going to tell you that you could feel better from eating plant-based. So like, I love that all these people are putting it out there, especially some of these guys that are really promoting like the fruit diet, because they are really making a movement. And like some of the guys that are promoting healthy vegan eating, example, Jeff Palmer, I mentioned, he has a plant-based business where like so many people that are taking that myth away that guys can't be tough and still be plant-based. I'm trying to think of the guy I was just thinking. Well, Zipal is one of them. He's doing a lot of vegan and great. He's doing the Great Challenge that I just interviewed with. I mean, there's plant-based doctors. Fahad, Fruitarian Fahad, he does some great things on YouTube with like Mind. There are just so many people I've interviewed. I mean, Dr. Furman was a very influential person in a lot of people's lives. Don Bennett, who is someone that I have on a reoccurring basis on here, has so much knowledge about our body, who calls himself like disease avoidance specialist. Like, it's amazing what I've learned over this past year, and I've evolved in my whole journey. Because like the way you start out being vegan, I'll tell you this too, Angela, like you are going to just learn things as you go too, and you're doing absolutely the right thing. I am so happy for you and proud of you, because you're absorbing yourself in vegan knowledge, like not just vegan knowledge, the page, but like you are looking at different people. And I love that, because you're going to see which one resonates with you. And like you may end up starting out where, okay, I'm starting to feel, I feel really good. So I'm using some transitional meat products. And then I'm going into, I want to do whole foods, and then you go into that and you're like, oh, I feel really good. And I'm getting some recipes down. And you know what? I really want to see what JJ was talking about last year with that raw food thing and trying to do the fruit, if you, or you might start out like I did and say I want to go raw, and then you might start incorporating some whole food. Like however you do it, you're going to feel so much better. And you might learn, like, okay, maybe right now I don't get, I mean, I'm not sure because I don't know you, but maybe you already started because of animals. But maybe you'll, like me, 6 months in, you start to click and like, oh wait, I really don't think I ever want to eat animals again. I didn't know, I never made that connection. Some people begin as a diet. So like, don't be afraid to get a whole bunch of knowledge from a bunch of different sources, because it's so important that you don't get yourself like, overwhelmed with the information. Just jump in and start somewhere. Start by saying, you know what, tomorrow, I'm not going, or I'm not going to have any meat. I'm going to do a meatless Monday, and I'm going to do fruit for my lunch, salad for lunch, and beans and rice and vegetables for dinner, let's just say. And then maybe the next day you do like a why would I want meat Wednesday? Oh, I'm coming up with names instead of meatless Monday, right? And then you might do it on Wednesday. And then you might, my thing though, I feel like you'll feel best if you just take it out completely. As hard as it might be, your taste will change. I mean, welcome, Diana. I was just going to say, there are people like Diana who've taken it and run with it. Like, if you see some of the stuff she makes, I was just talking about your recipe. And like, just also for me, like I never thought in my life the way I used to eat. I mean, I was a steak eater. I never thought that now, 5 years later, I would be so excited that when I get off here, I'm going to go get 4 of those clementines and I am going to eat them, and I am excited about it. Like, I don't really need a whole lot of different foods anymore. I've evolved to that, but that took a minute. I started out raw and then I went through all these different phases, and now I've returned to this diet that made me feel my best. So, like, don't be afraid to explore other parts of the vegan journey. If you're looking to heal, I personally think, along with other people, that doing as much raw food as you can would be the best way to kind of, in a sense, detox. Because what you're doing is you're taking out any immune reaction that anything could give you. And you are giving yourself only things that are easy to digest, which gives your body more energy to heal too. So you'll start to see your skin feel better. Like, even if you're doing whole food, plant-based, same thing. Diana can tell you, if you're free. I don't know if you have anybody, like you can't come on, but if you can, the link is up pinned in the top there if you want to pop in and say hello. We have Angela here. Danny has popped in. We've got Farah. Thank you. If you missed it earlier, I was on mute for about 3 minutes, and thank goodness these good people told me that they couldn't hear me. And so, like, it's just been a blessing to be able to share this information and put out there. I probably lost track of exactly what I was saying, but the biggest thing is find a why, find a motivation, and realize that the hardest part is going to be creating new memories without the emotional connections of the dairy and meat. But when you get determined, when you're in your mind and you start finding creative ways to eat, and understanding that the food is actually like fuel we're putting in our body. Sometimes we are being so rough on our body by putting in a lot of chemicals and a lot of substances that makes it hard for it to heal. It's like, and we wonder why we run into a lot of conditions because of what we're doing. And I never ever connected that for like many years. And I'm just so happy to be on this journey. What have I noticed lately? Because over the holidays I had ended up leaving my raw food diet that I was on for 3 months, and I went into eating a lot of cooked and processed food. And I remember a lot of cookies. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who do eat vegan cookies, I'm going to be putting on my Facebook page. Remember Ray that was on here from or actually I might put a link here too. But if you are interested, I'm going to be doing a cookie giveaway. He offered me a free batch of his cookies, right? And I said, you know what? I want to give that away. I'm going to send you the address of one winner because I don't want to eat cookies. And congratulations to Dawn. She has been raw. Today makes her 14th day. She's never was able, she said, to go 2 weeks without at least adding some type of processed or cooked food in. And she did that. She's doing mostly fruit. Some days she'll have all like grapes. Sometimes she'll have these big salads. And her salads are like beautiful creations. Like I think Diana or was it Michelle recently shared their salad, and I'm like, whoa, that looks a lot more creative than mine. But it's all like cool. I love watching how everyone eats, but she's doing an amazing job. Congratulations to her. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow she can pop on and tell us. But I feel like just I don't know. It's just different when you get healthier and you eat better, and like whichever way, wherever level you are, you can go to, if you're eating meat and dairy and you go into whole food plant based, you feel like awesome. Like you start to feel more energy. Like for me, my skin starts to like feel better in my digestion when I do like completely raw, and raw with lots of fruits. If you do raw and you do a lot of roughage, that might kind of be a little more difficult for your body to digest. So that's why I do the frugivore thing, which is how I feel like, mostly we're designed to eat, which is a lot of fruit and then like maybe 5 to 10%. Like if you want to do nuts, seeds, tender, like, leaves, like you could do lettuce, and different vegetables. But some people do it different ways. Like some people do raw with more vegetables. Some people do it with like, um, even amount. It's just like up to you. I think they're all going to give you improvements, but that's what works better. And it maintains my weight better when I do extra fruit, because I find that when I did only vegetables that first time raw, it was like my weight was good because I lost 50 pounds and I've kept it off, but it also kept going down. And like my family was like, you're getting too skinny. So I had to, I ended up eating cooked and processed food to get, and put lots of mashed potatoes. And I gained the weight, I got up to about 125, but every time I would go raw, I would lose weight. And then I realized this year, when I interviewed Minister of Wellness, he was talking about how fruit is so healing. And that's what he's found. He went from whole food plant based to a lot of fruit. And I was like, oh, maybe fruit's what I'm missing. That's got those healthy like carbohydrates in it that could, and that seems to have worked this time, like the 90% fruit. And it gives you a good energy. Like I had so much energy that like, I don't know, like most of the time it improves my sleep, but like last night I didn't have very good. I woke up, I did sleep good initially, and then I woke up like so early and I'm like, I don't want to be awake right now. It's all rainy and I want to be like sleeping. And I'm like, my mind was going 100 miles an hour. Like I wanted to get up and start, doing work and stuff on the group and on the YouTube and promoting it. And I'm like, what am I doing? It's the weekend. This is my only day really off. But I guess, the bot, they look, I'm saying they, like my body's another person. My body was like, nope, you've been eating them fruits. You got energy, get on up. Well, you know what, Diana, that is totally up to you. I'll be on here like another maybe 15, 20 minutes. We don't mind seeing appearance from the kids. So whatever you're comfortable with, if you do feel like popping on, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. But I have noticed a lot of things, like my digestion is a lot better since I stopped eating a lot of the cookies. Oh, the cookie giveaway. Duh, I went totally off tangent on that. So Ray has agreed to send the winner cookies. So I'm going to do something. We're going to come up with something like maybe if you've already subscribed to the YouTube, I might put a post out and say like, hey, if you help me and subscribe to my YouTube and comment that you've subscribed, even to people that have already subscribed, or I might put like a link out, a form that you can fill out. And if you join like my email list, you get like entered into the drawing. I might do it like, comment on this YouTube video, and you get any of the YouTube videos maybe, and you get an entry. I don't know how to do it, but I'll probably have to do it where everybody's in one spot. So I might do it on the Facebook page, or like join the Facebook page and enter, comment free cookie or something. And then whoever wins, and you have to like tell me on the comment how those cookies are. Like, I'll live vicariously through you. I'm like, I cannot get my cookie addiction back now that I've been raw for at least, what's today? I started on the 1st, so 28 days now. um, I have been back on my good meal plan, where, because I found, even though I love cooked food, like when I do whole food plant based like Diana, she does it right. She does good stuff, and I do that initially, but then I'm like, those plant based chicken, that would be good, right? And that plant based butter, and I feel like sometimes, not all the time, but I start moving into eating the junk food. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stay on my darn vegetables and fruits. Welcome, Diana Varner, plant based. Thank you for joining me. How
Hey, how are you doing?
good? How's things with you?
It's going good. I've got stuff in my instant pot I'm working on and gonna make some French dressing.
Hmm.
There's something else that I was gonna make with the chickpeas. I was gonna make some hummus, and there was something. I've got it pulled. Where's it at? I don't know where I don't remember what I'll have to go back. I was looking at Pinterest. So there's something I wanted to make with chickpeas, but I had to have hummus to go with it. I'll probably post it. And I've also just cooked a white sweet potato because I want to try these sweet potato brownies.
A white sweet
Um,
potato? That's interesting.
yep.
I never had that. I never had
And
that. They
then
have purple ones too, right?
Oh, yes. You've never had a white sweet potato?
No, I've never had one. I've
I'm
heard there
telling
were
you.
other ones, but I must have like boring stores here. Come on, Ocean City, you're gonna have to make better decisions for me, or
Well,
I gotta go seek out maybe a place that has them. Or where do you get
of
them?
course, actually, Winco and Sprouts.
Oh, you know what? I've been wanting a Sprouts around here, but they don't have one.
Um,
They have Aldi and Walmart and oh, what else?
you don't have a Winco?
No Winco. They don't even have a Whole Foods. Maybe I'd have to drive like an hour and a half. What else do they have? They have like Food Lion. I don't know
I
if
think
you
you can actually order
you
from
might be able to
Amazon.
request them. I've never done a whole lot of that. I used to, like, the people there used to tell me though, when those like, I used to be hooked on this one vegan dressing, or not dressing, but it was a dip. It was tzatziki dip. Like what they put on the traditional, like, gyro, I guess people call them, like when or you know what I mean. And it was like this dip. It was called Good Foods or something, I think was the main name of it. But then they also had a cheese dip. Like, they had all kinds of good stuff. And then they used to tell me when the sprouts and the avocados were coming in, because I used to just bug them so much. They were like, "Come back Thursday, the shipment's coming in." So I didn't call like every single day. And I used to get this vegan sour cream from this place. They would sit it outside for me in a cooler because I couldn't get off in time to get it. And that's how addicted I was to it. It was called Forager. That video I made with my top dairy replacements has a lot of that old dairy replacement stuff, like the Ben and Jerry's vegan ice cream. What else did I used to eat? Oh my goodness. When you see that video, the vegan cheesecake, Gaia. When you see
Oh.
that video, you'll know why I eat raw now, to keep myself upset. We don't have much raw vegan junk food. Of course, I could probably find it, because some people get hooked on the dehydrator stuff, and they make like, like sweet stuff and fruit. Like, they dehydrate all the fruit, and then it's like tastes like candy, but then you're not eating the water content in it anymore, I
Right.
guess.
I
Um,
know. At Aldi, they have dehydrated or dried pineapple, and that's all it is pineapple. There's nothing else. And that is amazing.
really? Oh my God.
Yes.
I love pineapple, but I ate too much one time, and it was like I ate a whole pineapple and I hadn't been used to eating it, almost the whole thing. They still had some of the center left and some in a bowl, but like literally I was cutting it up and I was supposed to be putting it in the bowl, and I was like two
Did it
chops and then eating it as the bowl never even like got filled. Dawn's like, "What? You didn't save any of the pineapple?" And all of a sudden, I was like, my mouth was like, felt like it had
burning?
burning kind of, or like when you touched it with your tongue, it was like a raw
Oh,
thing. And
yeah.
I went to eat my salad, and I was like I couldn't even eat anything else. It like ruined my meals. And I'm like, whoa, that stuff. No wonder it's so powerful to heal. I don't think anybody's ever
Right.
done a pineapple mono diet. Like, what they're doing with these
Oh,
grapes and melons. And I even saw a guy doing avocados for 30 days and some crazy stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, imagine I would never be able to eat again if I ate pineapple only.
oh
It would
gosh.
be like, what a diet that would be for me. I just
I guess
burn my mouth every morning and wouldn't want to eat anything, right? That's
that'll
not a
prepare you for a fast.
right, right. I was like, what do you add pineapple to a lot of your dishes? I know you use a lot of like spices and stuff.
Lately I have been putting pineapple in with some stir fries.
Maybe that's where I
And
saw it. Did you just make a stir fry?
yes.
What was in
Yeah.
that?
Well, I bought the frozen stir fry vegetables from Costco, and it's got the snap peas. It has the water chestnuts, some broccoli, carrots, things like that. And so I saute it in water, add some onions, uh, and then I had added I might have added some kind of beans, like a black bean or chickpea or something. And then I
Mm-hmm.
added the pineapple, and I used the California balsamic teriyaki vinegar, um, balsamic vinegar that's teriyaki flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I had island pineapple flavor balsamic. So I
Okay.
used that, and that was my sauce. I didn't use the
Right.
package that come with it. I just kind of I always use garlic powder, onion powder. Um, I do get the galaxy dust from Well Your World.
You ever use ginger?
Yes. Yes. I love to put ginger and stuff too.
When I
And
used to
I
make this, sorry to interrupt. I'm
no, go
delayed, so if I cut into you, it's because like when I started, you weren't talking, but then I see your screen move. Um, I used to make every night. I would make brown rice. I think it was broccoli. Those sugar snap or snow peas, whatever I could find. Oh, what else did I put in that thing? I'll have to find an old picture of it, but I used a couple of different vegetables. I think it was might have been sometimes just broccoli and brown rice, and I'd put little pieces of ginger, and then I would make like I think sweet baby rays, which probably had a lot of sugar in it, so I shouldn't probably be using that. But I would use just a little bit of that on this either tofu or vegan. These little like chicken tender. No, they weren't tenders. I forget. They were from like Morningstar, I think, but they were like little. They said chicken tenders, but I used to call them like no, they were like popcorn chicken imitation because it
oh,
reminds me
okay.
of General Tso's chicken. There's where I was going with it. When you
Right.
get that out at the restaurant and it's kind of rolled in the sweet sauce. And then one time
Yeah.
I even ordered General Tso sauce from the Chinese
Yes.
restaurant and put that on it. And I'd use a lot of ginger in that. It would just gave it like that Asian vibe. Hello, how are
Yes.
you?
Yes, I used to love that flavor as well.
Let's see.
So,
Did she have some of the stir fry with you?
no,
Not that too spicy,
she
probably.
eats too many vegetables.
Oh, I got you. And what's her favorite food? You gonna tell us?
What is it? Come here, tell them.
You like pineapples?
No.
Strawberries? No.
Watermelon.
Watermelon?
Watermelon.
Ah, okay. See, I knew I was gonna guess it. You like oranges?
You like oranges?
They're not too bad, right? Um,
Is that live?
Yes.
Oh, heck no.
I love it. We get that from live from Diana's living room. We
That's
get like
right.
little appearances. I like it. See, you got
Well,
that was a long time. Nobody was on there. You see, I'm glad you came on. You got to tell us. Okay, so go back to your thing with the ginger. Sorry.
oh yeah, I mean, I did buy some fresh ginger, and I keep it in the freezer, and then you just kind of grate a little bit at a time.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
like the fresh ginger too. I mean, I know people use ginger powder. I love the appearance. I love
there's one thing that I used to do when my kids were young.
I did it.
They used to get
it.
um not these kids, but my other kids.
I did
Right.
it. Mama.
Everybody's Diana's kids. You have
So
to adopt us too.
like my son and daughter.
Yeah.
But this one thing I learned a long, long time ago is a ginger bath. You take ginger, I would take the powder, ginger, you run your bath water and then dissolve it in the bathtub because when they were sick, I would give them a ginger bath because it's supposed
Oh,
to
really?
draw out toxins.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. Cause like I used to use ginger when we would have a toothache too. If you just sit it right on the gum, it will literally like it'll feel weird at first, but it literally like healed it overnight sometimes. And so it's weird the power of food sometimes, right? And then like the one Don Bennett was like ginger can also what does it do? It's so you can't absorb B12 as well when you eat ginger, but I still have it in my tea. I can't seem to get that out of my diet even after I heard him say that. But I'm like I take B12, so I must be it's so hard sometimes because like you hear one thing but it's like I at least took all the other stuff out. I'm working on those little intricacies of like, okay, I need to stop drinking coffee. Like, we'll see what happens. That's probably the only thing raw I don't drink. Um, I was like, I'm gonna do that though. That's on the agenda, but I have to take like 4 days off work because literally it's crazy. Even with the energy I have, something still sparks in me that like mid morning I want that little sip of caffeine. Like literally, I'm down to taking 2 sips, but it's almost like it's a mind thing where I'm like, I gotta have that. It's probably because it's an addiction, just like anything else. But like I gave up a lot this year, just like you, man. I already last year I gave up the alcohol. Like I can't do all that at once. But I tried it one time and I like felt so like lethargic. I didn't think those 2 sips mattered that much, but I might have to like switch it up. So like in the morning, I usually don't eat in the morning. So I'll have like a little bit of ginger tea and maybe a couple sips of coffee. And then I have like the moringa and all that too. But I'm like, I might have to do like a big like smoothie to like bring myself, into like putting a lot of nutrients in to give me energy in the morning instead of using the caffeine for it. I just thought about that. Maybe I'll come up with a little concoction that I can use like my new coffee, I'll call it. When I get it done, I'll put the recipe out. Do you drink coffee?
There was um I every once in a while. It's not like a everyday thing for me
Right.
because when I was going into the office and it was be cold in the office, I got to where I was. This is like pre COVID, and I got to drinking coffee because but I got addicted to the cream because
Hmm.
I was trying different kinds of creamers,
Right.
but of course I don't even know if they had non-dairy at the time that I know of, but I was like, it's all this sugar. So
Stop.
I
Yeah.
but if I do have coffee, then it's unsweet. A lot of times it's just black
That's what I
coffee.
drink now because I
So,
couldn't find a plant-based creamer I liked. Even when I was eating a lot of plant-based creamer, it just never seemed the same, even almond milk or, and then the other stuff would taste like fake sugar. Like I don't, that taste, I never really liked that taste. Like diet soda had it, like that aftertaste. So it always tastes something weird on creamers, even if they were sugar free. So I'm like, I'll just go without it. And then I got used to the black coffees. I'm like, well, guess it wasn't the cream I was interested in. I
well,
guess it
and
was the coffee.
some of those don't seem to mix well. It's,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
Like
so
melting. Do you find that
yeah.
you have good luck with melting vegan cheese? I heard people mention that it doesn't.
You know, I really haven't used a lot of vegan cheeses. I really, the ones I did have, I didn't really like. Yes, that was a thing about the melting. I just think, I don't know if it's too, something's either too rich or too, the
Mhm.
texture that I just don't really care that much for it. But I wasn't a huge, big cheese eater anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't really eat mac and cheese back then anyway. The only really cheesy stuff I'd have was a grilled cheese. Of course, I had added jalapenos because you know me, I got to have my spice.
Yes, she loves those Mexican type spices, right? What
Yes.
um so like what was your go-to meal since I think Angela might still be listening? Let's say when you first started, before maybe you figured out a lot of combinations. Did you have like a go-to meal if you can remember either the first time or like this time when you went whole food, plant-based? Did you um like is there something that was like a easy go-to meal that you would make? Was it like beans and rice or
Where today?
Well, honey, you pick
There's
one out
two
and
different.
surprise me. So, what I did when I very first started, I actually, one of the first things I made was Chef AJ's red lentil chili.
oh, we got to talk about your reboot too when you're done.
I made the red lentil chili because then I could just eat it standalone by itself, or I would put it on a baked potato, and that would
Oh,
last me. The red lentil chili would last me all week.
that sounds. Oh, I made lentil sloppy Joe. Some people call it manwich
Yes.
before. And that was really good. Like I couldn't imagine. I used to use plant-based meat in it, and I stopped and wanted to eat whole foods, and then I made chili like that with beans. And I think I did chili once with. I took mushrooms and chopped them up in the food processor, but not like big. I chopped them kind of small, like they would be like sort of meat, and I put like some
Mhm.
seasonings on them, like chili powder, and I used that as like the base along with the beans. And I think I wanted to do a couple different things, but I ended up trying it with the mushrooms, and that was good. Mushrooms used to be a go-to for me too, like as a kind of a protein in stuff. Like for a while we would have plant-based spaghetti with mushrooms, and I was amazed that I didn't need the Gardein vegan meatballs that I used to put in it. I was like, wow, these actually taste just as good. Of course, Dawn made the sauce because hers always tasted better, but then I found out she was sticking sugar in it. I was like, but you can
But
use like sugar substitutes. Like pineapple is actually a good sugar substitute, isn't it? Like
oh, I don't
if you've
know.
ever tried like a pineapple juice, I've heard of people putting that in stuff to give it, or date powder. A lot of people use.
Yeah.
Um, which mushrooms would you use? I used to use the white mushrooms because I found them to be, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, why won't these show up now? Oh well, I don't know what happened. I was trying to show her question. She said, "Which mushrooms would you
I
use?" I
see
was
it.
thinking white mushrooms or portobello mushrooms. I used white because they were diverse, like they didn't have a flavor necessarily, so I could make them into like if I was having like a barbecue dish or sort of a spin on an Asian dish. I could use like a General Tso's type sauce, but and seafood. Weird, oddly enough, one time I swear I thought mushrooms tasted like shrimp when I put Old Bay seasoning, like a
Oh,
seafood
really?
on them. Yes, and even for Dawn one time, I took onions and cut them because I don't eat them like that. But I do eat them cooked every now and then, and I slice them like in those circles, similar to how a pineapple. Like, did you ever have like shrimp, steamed shrimp from like a seafood restaurant? How they come with
Uh-huh.
those big onions? I cooked them with it, and it like, and I did a mushroom. I put like mushrooms, celery, um, and like a couple other things, and made like a vegan mayo into a seafood salad one time. So like I got into some mushrooms, and now I don't even eat them because I don't know which ones I'm allowed and not to eat raw. And then I heard that, okay, well, I've been doing just like frugivore, so I guess you could eat mushrooms, but I just
I
haven't been.
know Dr. Furman says that cooked mushrooms are best to have them cooked. But
Hmm.
I know there's a lot of people, and even people in my family, they don't really like mushrooms. They don't like the texture.
Yeah, a lot
So
of people are like that.
I feel like if you don't like it, but you want the benefits of mushrooms, I blend it in the sauce. So they can't
Mhm.
actually get the mushroom texture, but you still get the benefits of the mushroom.
Well, I don't have mushroom for them in the fridge anymore. Get it? If you don't have mushroom on your plate, you can't add them on. Oh my gosh, the puns
I
never
love
end.
all your little
I've
jokes.
had like 10 of them, but I've been trying. Like when you said hummus, I wanted to say, "Are you going to hummus a tune?" But I couldn't go with it. I went with the mushroom. I couldn't hold it in. Maybe I should call myself the punny vegan. I might change the name of
Yes,
the
yes.
channel, right? Maybe more people would watch it. Hello.
Hello.
Do you
So
know any
some of the
jokes
other
for
things,
us?
huh?
I was wondering if she had a joke. I think I had
Oh,
one
you have a
about
joke?
fruit.
No.
No, but
No,
my son used to say, "Why did the turtle cross the road?"
to
Because
get
it
to the
was the
Shell
turtle.
station.
Huh?
To get
It
to
was
the
the
Shell
turtle.
station.
Because it was the chicken's day off.
Oh, that's funny because I used to tell that as a kid about the Shell station because someone told that to me when I was little. Like, like the gas station Shell and the turtle with the shell. I don't know. Yeah, his is better.
I
Uh-huh.
think this.
I like his. The chicken's day off. Oh my goodness.
Quit. So for me, because when I first started eating this way, nobody in the house would eat this way, right?
Mhm.
So um my easy thing, and plus when I was going into the office, it's just real easy for me. Like I would always fix a big salad, and have salad with beans in it. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's like the Dr. Furman salad. It's the big bowl that
Chickpeas are always good in salads. I used to love that.
chickpeas. I put chickpeas, pinto beans, black beans. I put the white beans.
You
I
ever eat
mean,
mung bean sprouts or alfalfa
no, I
sprouts?
haven't.
Oh my gosh, you got to do that because they add like this really good texture. I mean, they don't have much of a like taste, but they have all the health benefits of beans, but like they're like little crunchy. I don't know how to describe it. I used to make these little wraps of lettuce. I'd put like a little bit of those, a little bit of like a some whatever else I had in the salad, like avocado, and like roll it up and dip it in a little bit of dressing. And it was just like well, they put them in Chinese food sometimes. Like, but bean sprouts, they call them. They just don't put the mung on it. I don't know if you've ever seen them in like a fried rice. But they're good if you try them. They're basically like mung beans sprouted. Like that's where I started learning about that stuff. This is how I got involved in this whole thing from Dawn growing sprouts. She grew like different kinds. Like it was weird. Like these sprouts, the way she would lay it out, I guess you put like a cloth down. All of a sudden, these little sprouts would grow up out of the thing, and she had all these sprouts for us. And I'm like, this was so cool because I had just went raw, and I'm like, I didn't even have to buy them at the store. I'm like, can you grow everything? But now I've got the link to the tower garden where literally when I get some extra money, probably in like maybe March, I'm gonna start making payments on that because I think I found where I could make like I think it's $90 for the big one, or maybe 112 or something, and you get the whole bundle. You get a bunch of like seeds with it to start out. You get like the tower thing, and Dawn has a good what do they call that, green thumb. Like me,
Oh.
I forget about the thing, and all of a sudden, all my stuff would not get watered for a week. But she's good with it. She grows the aloe and stuff. So I'm like, okay, if I get this thing, you have got to be part of it. I'm not taking that's not my project. I'll take care of the cat. You take care of the live plants. Angela wants to know what type of dressings you would use.
On the salad?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're gonna buy dressing, of course I know about Well Your World. But I like to get the either the Skinny Girl
Mm-hmm.
or
That,
is it Annie's?
yeah, I've seen
I
Annie's.
think
I didn't like the ranch of Annie's. I like the if I'm gonna buy processed, I liked oh, what is it?
I like
Now,
the poppy seed.
what's the one I'm thinking of? That really popular brand that I was advertising in my video. What the heck was it? Oh my god, am I getting old? I need more blueberries. I think blueberries help memory. Um, Hidden Valley. Is it Hidden Valley? It's Hidden Valley. I think
It's
that's the one. I'll
the
have to
new
look.
ranch,
Plant
the
Ranch.
Hidden Valley.
Yeah, and they have a spicy one too. You might like that.
Yes, I've had it. I had it, but
It's too
I
spicy for me.
I don't use those anymore because to me it's still higher calorie than I want.
Yeah, and the
And it
ingredients
probably
have a lot of stuff
oil.
I can't pronounce and oils. Yeah, I used to use
So
the.
I when I was making my own dressing, I would take cashews,
Mhm,
lemon juice, sometimes some apple cider vinegar, little water, mustard or Dijon mustard. Sometimes I've added a little tomatoes in it to make it a tomatoey.
mhm.
Um, right now today I've got a French dressing that's no oil that I'm gonna make.
If you like
So I'll
raspberry
probably
vinaigrette, try
huh?
Boswell. Broswell's makes a good raspberry vinaigrette. If
Uh,
that's the most organic one I've ever seen, it's made out of poppy seeds, other than looking at the ingredients and seeing like, but at first I didn't care about processed ingredients. Now I'm like ultra focused on what's in that stuff, like you
yeah.
said, oil in this stuff. So I love that. So wait a minute, we got to write that down. Hold on,
So
I'm putting cashew.
I'll post it up on my
Okay,
Instagram.
cool. And then post in the comments when you get a second your Instagram so she can grab that for
Okay.
if you're on
I know
Instagram.
the
If not,
link.
I'll put it in the description.
If you go to my YouTube, there's a link to my Instagram, but I can probably add my Instagram in here.
Yeah, add
Uh
it in the comment if you can, and then I'll copy that and put it in the description if you want. Oh, a lot of if you like sweeter dressings, I have done a I did like a lemon or lime just squeezed on top of my salad, and or an orange even,
yeah.
and just mixed it around. Like it actually comes out pretty good. Or like I did balsamic vinaigrette and or like and some kind of mango you could do. Like you can just literally and maybe a date or two, and if you put that and mix it all together, like you can make a dressing so easily. Mine never come out good, but you'll probably have better luck. I haven't tried enough. Like every time I would do it, I'd be like, I'm just going to squeeze lime on this. It's good enough. I'd be like too excited to eat my salad. But I've made a couple that came out pretty good. But if I followed a recipe, you could literally make a big picture of it, and keep it or put it in a container. And that way, like some people are like, I'd rather buy it because I don't want to make it every day, right? And so it's like, yeah, but like if you make enough of stuff, like you put out that thing about the fruits in the jars, that was really cool. Or like if you're starting to, if you buy extra fruit, I just heard that putting avocados in the fridge, my mom shared with me, that
Yes.
that you it won't
Slows
oh, that's
down the
I
ripening.
see what I was doing wrong. I had us on the big screen. No wonder I couldn't post her comments on there. There we go. Is that the YouTube link? Or that's the
My
Instagram link?
Instagram.
Okay. And I'll put that in the email too when I'll if you don't have Instagram or Facebook, if you're just on YouTube, we can put maybe some of the Diana's recipe or link to her YouTube page, right? I think you have that too. I'll put that in there so that she could join your YouTube.
Yeah.
And 'cause thank you. And thank you, Angela, for like, watching and commenting and sharing their stuff because we're both trying to grow our pages to get this information out there. So I really appreciate you subscribing and it, even if you didn't subscribe, as long as you come on here, it makes us feel like we're not like we're all sharing things with each other, and I love that because I watched so many YouTube videos and lives over the years that have really helped me. And like, I would ask questions. Sometimes they would answer them and sometimes they wouldn't. But I'm always so thankful when they would get to my question. Because, like, if I go on a live with like 10,000 people, like Chef AJ, it's like hit or miss whether it's going to get read. And I understand that because, like, she wouldn't be able to let the person talk because it would be like, I have to ask all the questions. So I love the more intimate ones sometimes where it was like 20 people watching or, like 5 people. Sometimes I have one here, which is cool. I almost like the interaction of it. Now, of course, if you guys want to give me 1 million subscribers, I'll be okay with that. I'll still answer all your questions in the comments. I'll just do a whole comment day. Like everybody just asked your question and we'll do it. But like still, I love kind of being one on one. That's why one of the things I want to do, and I hope you can be a part of it too, and like maybe come on as a guest and share too, because I'm putting together, and it's almost, well, I don't want to say almost done. I always say things are almost done, and it takes me another month, but I want to do a vegan for beginner program that is going to start out with why it's going to be like a weekly thing. It'll be like a support kind of group, but it's also going to be like I'll record it, the first one I do, so that people can rewatch it. And it's going to be like, what is vegan? What is a vegan diet? What are the different variations of vegan diet that you can do, starting with fruit based and up to raw whole food plant-based, um, plant-based with no salt, oil, sugar, like, just wherever you want to be, like this is what people are doing. So it's different. Even like the regular American diet, people are on keto or people eat different ways. And I love that this is the same thing. People think vegan means you just eat some lettuce,
Right.
and it's
They think
like
it's
there's
boring.
yeah, it's not boring. I mean, if I hear these creations you come up with, which is cool because it's like no one knows this stuff, so I love putting it out there. And then like how good people are feeling, they're healing. But anyway, I want to go from that, and then it's going to go into the health benefits of vegan, and then we're going to go into like transitional health, like talk to different people how they transition. Maybe somebody's will resonate with them. And then we'll go into documentaries and like as homework, like we'll pick a documentary, like say we'll do What the Health like the first week. And then next week we're going to discuss that. Tell me your thoughts. Did you learn anything on it? Either you can do comments or you can come on and talk live. I'm thinking about doing it
That
because I
sounds good.
yeah, like I could do YouTube or Zoom. It doesn't matter, whatever's easier for people. I know yeah, I like doing the YouTube because I feel like more people can probably access it, but I could always do a Zoom recording if people don't want to be on live. But I think live would be cool. And then just it's always out there, like each
Hmm.
episode would be a different, and then like we could go into recipes and sharing of here's some things that I eat, here's some recipes, and I could advertise everybody's YouTube pages and different things that can help, and then ask people how their transition's going. Talk about one episode will be just all the different things that you could heal with plant-based diet, and then like there's going to be like a lot of mind stuff, how to deal with family, how to deal in social situations, what if you go to a party, like just the whole thing. I feel like will be so, I don't feel like there's any like 101 for new vegans, like I'm sure there
Right.
is out there. There's like the jumpstart, not jumpstart, am I thinking of something like Forks Over Knives has like, there's a lot of challenges, but I don't think there's anything that literally starts from like ground zero to tell me when I started. I would have loved to know, what is vegan? Is it a diet? Like, what about, oh, and then like how it impacts animals, for example, like what I learned about that. Nothing gruesome, like I'm not going to share animal slaughterhouses and stuff, but just the general idea of things like making the connection between animals and food, and how I had shifted that used to be what I thought they were, food, but I thought cats were pets. And I'm thinking, why did I not separate that? Like, why did I, have one of these in my home and then eat this one? It doesn't make sense, but it always made sense. But then all of a sudden, so just that kind of thing. And then I think it'll hopefully make me feel better, because I've been trying to do this for a year, and I keep starting it. And then, sometimes I think, I don't know if you do this, like with videos and stuff. I think, well, it's not quite perfect, or I want to add something else, and then it never gets done. Maybe I should just do the first episode and get it over with, because I'm like, Jen, you're not making a movie documentary that you should be taking a year to make one little
Right.
plant-based
Well,
course.
I know. I was
Look, I should
watching.
have let GPT write it. I would have been done 3 years ago.
I was watching something the other day, and I think it was in the Chef AJ reboot. It was Dr. Lyle talking about how when they make movies, they do 6-second increments. Like they film this
Oh my
phrase, and then they go to this phrase. So it's just little pieces that build it up. Yeah.
Dr. Grover was talking about reading his book. That's another thing I started 5 years ago, was writing a book and never finished it. I'm starting to see a pattern with myself here. Um, but he said when he read his audiobook, it took him like I forget how many hours, months or something, because he had to read it word for word. And then I guess if you mess up, you have to like rewind it, because people wanted to hear his book in his voice. So I can imagine what a movie takes. It took me like a year to make a 10-minute video once. Not a year, but you know what I'm saying. Like a minute and a half if you're editing. Like Dawn does that like as a job, like not a job, but like for her channel that she does works with, the vegan channel, I mean vegan trading channel, everything's vegan. And like she like used to say like it takes so long, and I didn't understand it, but then she showed me the video app, and I'm like, watch, I'm going to do one fast. And literally it was like each little part of it, like if you want to add a word in, you have to make sure at the right time when you're saying that you put that right on the timeline. And then how do you want the word to come in? Do you want it to come up on the screen, flash in at you? I'm like, oh my goodness, I see what's going on now. Like, I feel for those people making movies. No wonder it
Yeah.
like took 2 years to film 1 hour and a half movie or more.
It is. It is time consuming. You got to put some time into that.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll be able to me and you will do this full time, right? So we don't have anything else we can do. That's definitely my goal or my dream. I just need to figure
Right.
out
Mine
how to get
too.
rich first. You could probably sell your recipes.
I did make I found it on Pinterest though. But of course, I tweak the recipe if there's something in it that I'm not going to eat. Because this one had, they listed oil, but I don't saute my vegetables in oil. I just water saute, or sometimes I'll use vegetable broth. But
Oh yeah.
um, I made a lentil meatloaf. I think I posted it either in the group or on my Instagram, and it's on my Facebook. But oh my gosh, that lentil meatloaf was so good.
Well, tell us about that, because I think I talked to someone who made a meatloaf, but it was something else. They didn't use lentils. So tell us. Oh, you know what? Before I forget to, Angela, Sherry Shrello, with the turn you on to her channel. She makes plant-based recipes too. Now, tell us about that lentil meatloaf. You got to do a YouTube on it. I loved meatloaf when I was eating meat.
Oh, I'm gonna make another one because that one didn't last very long at all. And
We did it with Beyond Meat. Look, she did it with lentils. That shows you the
when
upgrade of the.
I think my fiance had one slice of it, I ate the rest, and it was in there for the next day or so. And I tried to save him some, but he didn't go back to it as quick as I would. And I said, if you're not going to eat it, I
Tried to
am.
save him some.
It was so good. I'm going to make
We
another
fight
one.
over the grapes around here like that. I'm like, you got enough grapes?
I used a can of the organic lentils I got from Walmart. So it was 1 can of lentils, carrots, celery, onion. I used some um, walnuts. There's some other things I've listed.
Walnuts. That's what someone told me once was good to make like meat too, like walnut meat.
Yes, yes,
So what, you put the lentils, all this in a food processor?
yes. In the food processor with some oats, rolled oats.
Oh
So,
wow, rolled oats. I was like,
yeah.
I never would have thought of that.
And in fact, when my dad used to make meatloaf, he always put rolled oats in the meatloaf.
I
That's
think
how
my family used to use like bread or breadcrumbs.
yeah,
So
my
just
dad
bread.
always used the rolled oats. So,
Wow. So you picked that up and it was vegan. You see, like a lot of stuff people already used were vegan, but they were putting it with meat. So it wasn't vegan, right? You took the meat out and put the oats in.
yeah. And so, mixed that all up in the food processor. And then I put it in my loaf pan. And then the topping of it, the sauce, I used tomato paste and I
Mm-hmm.
used balsamic vinegar with some maple syrup.
Oh, wow.
Now,
No.
what I used to do when I made traditional meatloaf, I mixed ketchup and honey
Oh, okay.
on top. Um, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about switching up the topping and using tomato sauce and some date syrup. And it says you can use some apple cider vinegar, but I don't know if I want that stronger vinegary taste on there.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I think I just grew up eating it with just either ketchup on it. So you definitely have hooked that thing up a lot better. I
yeah, my
thought it
dad,
like knew it was tomato paste, and I thought it was ketchup because I used to dip everything in ketchup as a kid. Like
me too.
that's why I haven't even been eating tomatoes now because I like heard they might contribute to inflammation, and I'm like, I'm on this like ultra. I'm on like there's a page I'm on called oh, what is it? Health101.org that Don runs, and it's like vegan 101. When you become raw, you just do like these general things, but you can still have other like vegetables and fruits. And then it's like vegan 0.2.0 or something, or raw vegan 2.0. And like I'm on that page now. It's like, but if you really want to have this optimal like frugivore diet, do this. And then I took out like two more things, but like I said, I haven't taken out the ginger yet. But just with the way I used my back used to hurt, I'm like, oh, I'm eating all these avocados. What if I gain weight and get my back pain back? I'm gonna take out the tomatoes too. But I used to really love tomatoes and ketchup, and like I would dip my eggs in ketchup. In fact, and my mom used to hate when I did that. She would be like, "Ew, Jen, that's terrible." So when we had like tofu scramble or just egg, I would use ketchup on it. It reminded me of being a little kid, like sitting at the table dipping my eggs in ketchup.
I loved ketchup. Now I didn't put them on my eggs. I always like salsa,
Oh, of
but
course.
but the ketchup, I was a ketchup holic. I would okay, I'll get it after I get off here. Okay. So
I talked to a
I
lady at my work once, and I think it was at this job or the last, and her email was "I love ketchup at," and then I forget what it was. I don't want to put her email address. One of the main, ones like whether it was AOL, I don't know, but and she might have had a couple numbers after it, but it was like "I love ketchup" was her email. If you're watching, I was like, whoever the "I love ketchup" lady is, that was funny.
I remember one time because I liked ketchup so much. I remember one time I had squirted a lot of ketchup on my plate, and I actually put too much ketchup on there. And my parents were like, "You better eat, you know, like that's way too much ketchup." I said, "I'm going to eat it all." And of course, I just made myself eat it all.
Well, I had to start when we got into ketchup, like when we started putting it on stuff, like if I would make like homemade fries and stuff for us, I had to get the I think it was Hunt's makes like a natural one, but even though it's not natural, there's probably still processed stuff. But I never noticed the second ingredient on all the ketchups was high fructose corn syrup. And like this past year or 2 years ago when I got into whole food, no processed, I couldn't believe like stuff that I thought I was always eating healthy. Like even like I was telling you as a vegan, when I would get those or like plant-based dressings, when I was raw, I remember being really like strict, except for I would use balsamic from Ken's, which probably had a lot of stuff in it, but I didn't really realize about the processed when I went raw the first time with dressings. I thought dressing is healthy as long as it didn't have dairy in it or a meat based. Even though do they have meat based dressing? Who knows? Nowadays they probably got something with meat in it, but like I didn't realize the top like toxic. I guess maybe not toxic. Well, probably because they haven't tested those chemicals on like it's everything like milk, plant milk. I mean, if you're going from regular milk and you're buying like the almond breeze and stuff or the regular plant milks, it's fine. But I started seeing that they had like these gums in them. And I'm like, what is gum? And it's always says it's safe, generally safe in humans. And I'm like, but too much of it, I noticed once I like cleared my system out, when I drank a bunch of it, it would definitely like make my stomach feel weird because I'm like, what in the world is a gum doing to me? So I try to always like find one that has like almonds, salt. If they all have salt for some reason, a little bit of Himalayan salt and like vanilla powder if I'm eating the vanilla, and it doesn't taste as sweet as the ones with like all the sugar, but like milk was never sweet. I just got spoiled by the plant-based milks. Like, milk doesn't have a sweet taste. Like when I used to eat cereal with milk, it wasn't like I had vanilla cow milk, so other than chocolate milk, but I was like, so I think I was able to get my taste when I had plant milk. Do you thinking of I gotta go back to the lentil recipe, but I was thinking for Angela, do you eat a lot of oatmeal in your diet? Like is that one of the things you might eat for breakfast if people are looking for breakfast ideas?
Um, yes, I eat oatmeal almost all the time now. Of course, especially during this 30-day reboot with Chef AJ, she recommends not to have smoothies
Hmm.
just because, you're drinking it instead of the bulk fiber. So I haven't had my
Okay.
smoothies. So I will have oatmeal
I
with
don't eat it
fruit,
either. Hmm.
and I put different fruits in it. I'll put cinnamon and date powder, or
Okay,
sometimes I'll chop up dates and put it in there.
cool. I gotta get
And I
in this.
don't, I really don't use almond milk much. I don't use plant milks much. Only I would put them in my smoothies.
Hmm.
But, there for a while, I was putting 2 cups maybe in my smoothie. Then I backed it down to one. And sometimes I would not even use it. I would just use water with the banana to make it creamy, just because I was cutting down the calories. But really, it's not much calories anyway, because it's usually 30 to 40 calories for unsweetened. And cashew milk's 35 calories for 1 cup. So I would get a lot of cashew milk. But
Mhm.
I just recently found out when I picked up some almond milk from Costco, I did not realize that the ones I've been buying at, the regular grocery store were not organic. The one I got from Costco is organic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And sometimes I've even seen organic and it still has that weird stuff in it. So like I think somebody was talking about on here how it I think it was Angela, not this Angela, but the other Angela, the Boomer and Beyond, was talking about it should have to say certified organic, but that was for fruits. So I just always look at every ingredient. Like I've just gotten in the habit. I don't care what it says on the front, plant-based, because I've seen
Right.
something that said plant-based ones have dairy in it. And I'm like, I if I buy something out or I'm at a restaurant, I always ask because even weird stuff like fried rice, they put egg in it at
Right.
the restaurant. We always had to ask for it with no egg. And I'm like, I would have never guessed. I mean, I guess some people say it's like a thing that is normal, but I never did
Mhm.
fried rice that much because usually I would do like a meat based before, I wouldn't even do that. So yeah, let me ask you this. Go back to that lentil meatloaf because maybe someone was writing down the recipe and I totally interrupted on a tangent. So you had walnuts, oats, cashews. Was it cashews? No, that was something else. Walnuts, right?
Um, Walnuts.
But like what held
Um,
it all together?
okay. Let's see. Um, I can tell you what was in it.
I was like, she's withholding the recipe. It's like, you're going to have to buy
No, it's
Diana's
actually on my
5 day
Instagram.
I'm just playing. And then after that, we'll go into the reboot thing, and then I won't keep you guys forever. I just wanted to, I'm glad someone came on to talk to me so they didn't have to hear me going on about health information and fruit and vegetables and like unprocessed food. I feel like my
Okay.
diet might be boring unless they're all vegan. Uh-oh. Did you freeze? Is it just me that she froze for, or is everybody frozen?
I When I used a half, well, I used about
Yeah, you were
hello?
frozen for me, but I didn't know if I was frozen. Now I can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
oh.
Hello?
Yeah. I use um no, I'll use it. I'll pull it up on my phone because I switched over to a different tab. I think that hung me up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, put it on my tab. I have so many cups and water and all kinds of stuff. And my little plug for if you're still watching Farah, I was share the cup I stole from Dawn from American Dream Trading. It's like my favorite coffee cup.
Where is it?
Thanks, Mom, for the new containers. I forgot to share that picture. She got us this big square container for Christmas within all that stuff. Like you know what I was gonna say, Angela, too, to make dressings and stuff. A food processor. You probably already have one because most people probably do. But that was like a big help for me when I got one of those to make like dressings and stuff because you can take nuts and it'll actually chop them up. I don't know if you eat nuts. But she mentioned she doesn't eat oatmeal. So I was thinking, you know what? I was joking with her in the comments. I'm like, oh, then you have to be raw like me. No oatmeal, then you have to be
Can
raw.
she have oats at all in something? Like I added oats, or is it
Um,
um
no, I think she might not be able to eat oatmeal. I mean, oats because she couldn't eat oatmeal. But what I was thinking was also probably some type of, I think bread could hold it together
yeah,
if you
you
want
could use
to use it. Or you
panko
could use
crumbs.
Yeah.
You could use like a breadcrumb,
Hmm.
cracker crumbs. You could use that. Okay, so no oats. So yeah, you could use breadcrumbs,
I'll put that in
you
my
know.
notes. Get it? Noats.
Yeah, you and panko. There's I've used those in before. I've
Yeah.
used panko. Um, but it was 1 cup of chopped onion, a half a cup of carrots, and I put those in my food processor and just they're little tiny bits. So a
Okay.
half a cup of carrots, a half a cup of celery. I just chopped those up finely. 2 garlic cloves. I used 1 teaspoon dried thyme.
Okay.
I used the 1 can of lentils drained.
Okay.
Uh, if you cook your own, it's about a cup and a half. And then I used 1 cup of the oats, which you could use breadcrumbs. Half a cup of chopped walnuts. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. 2 tablespoons tamari. Now it said optional, and I forgot about it, but it's you could add cayenne pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon. I just I didn't, and it says a half a teaspoon of sea salt, but I didn't add salt. And then
Okay.
I did sprinkle some black pepper in it, and so then I put all that in my food processor and pulse it where it's looks like, you know, and I've got all the pictures on my Instagram of the each step.
Okay.
And then I put the parchment paper in my loaf pan. And one of the tricks I found with the parchment
That's good.
paper
I've
is you
heard of that.
crumble
I've never used parchment paper. Look, that shows you what a cook I'm not.
crumble it up like you're going to throw it away. Just crumble up the paper and then straighten it back out, and it's easier to the pan because it won't slip and slide around. So that now the topping, I used tomato paste, and it says 2 tablespoons, but I knew I was going to use more than that, so I just used half the can. And then I used a tablespoon of the balsamic vinegar that I had, just plain balsamic vinegar, and then 2 tablespoons maple syrup. And then it said salt, but I didn't add salt.
Oh, good. For those that are not eating salt, this will even be a good recipe for them. I love it. And
But
that's on your Instagram for those watching. I'll post her Instagram in the comments. I find I'm gonna start posting. I put stuff in the description, but I know my first year on YouTube, I didn't even know how to get to a like when I was just watching YouTube, I didn't know how to get to descriptions. Like sometimes I realized I didn't even know how to get like I couldn't find comments. Like I don't feel like it's as user friendly as finding stuff when you're new to technology, like especially. And it's like, I feel like when the video uploads, putting stuff in the comments makes it more readily available. Like, I feel like people that are on my show, I could get them better subscribers and, links that I'm trying to provide. Cause like, sometimes I don't feel like taking the time. I know it sounds lazy, but to go in somebody's description and you can't find the stuff, it's like I just want to click on something. I feel like the world, sometimes I'm watching it 2 minutes of it at the end of my lunch and the call's already coming in at work and I gotta hurry up and do stuff. Like I have no time during the week lately. It's been so busy. I've been like really stressing not being able to get on and post on the Vegan Knowledge channel. And yesterday I forgot completely that it was Share Me Saturday where I wanted everybody to post their page. So I did Share Me Saturday and Share Me you share interview Sunday or something all in one. Well, that is cool. And did you come up with that yourself, that recipe? Oh, nice. That's what it came out like?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that on that picture. I never got to that. I just saw it look like the
The texture is just like a meatloaf. I mean, honestly, if I probably ate that, I honestly think it would taste like meatloaf. Of
wow.
course, one of the kids tried it, and of course they're like, "Ooh," but I think it's a mental thing, once somebody knows something, and I don't understand sometimes just because the word vegan is in it, they think gross. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
know. I do the same thing. I don't even like saying the word sometimes. I'll be like, this is a recipe that's good with lower cholesterol or something, like because that's really it is lower cholesterol. Or this is a nice what is it else, like low saturated fat. Because people are okay with hearing low fat and knowing it can still taste good, but they don't if you say vegan, they're gonna think it tastes like plastic.
I think that if I made this now, probably somebody with their taste buds, I don't think that they would like the topping because of the balsamic vinegar, just because it was more tangy. I think if I did it, traditionally like I did, maybe instead of using honey, I could use the tomato sauce with a date syrup is what I want to try, or it's the maple syrup. I don't know that I need the vinegar in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to probably play around with it. But I think if I took it to, say, a potluck, I
That's
don't
what
think anybody would single it out.
Right. I don't think so either. In fact, I've heard of people taking different things like a vegan lasagna and different things, vegan ziti type thing. Oh, I plugged the
Uh-huh.
wrong thing in. I was trying to put some more light on. I started to feel like I was in the shadows over here. Let's
Well,
see.
it's just, I mean, same thing as you could make meatballs with the same mixture of
Right.
the meatloaf. You could just make them into
That's
little meatballs.
I think people don't understand whether it's raw recipes or even like whole food plant based. When you like, oh, no wonder. I was wondering why the light. Oh, I unplugged this one. That was stupid. No wonder. I thought the light burnt out. I had just unplugged it to plug in a different, brighter light. Oh my. Oh well. Maybe I need to eat my clementines. But yeah, like if you take tofu for example, I found that that's pretty diverse, and I used to think tofu gross. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to ever eat that. It just sounded weird. And then I tried it, and I've had when my sister was here visiting for like a weekend before, she might have stayed a week. We had all like I made her like all kinds of stuff. I think the first time she came I was raw, and the second time I wasn't. So it was like I was going nuts showing her like, listen, this tastes good. Look, this is I made this I put tofu. I made like a barbecue sauce type thing. I put tofu in a pan and just put the barbecue on it and just kept like stirring it, but I didn't like rush it so that it got this nice crisp like outside on it. And like I used a little bit of different seasonings, like maybe a little bit of garlic and a lot of pepper. And what else did I put? I forget, maybe like seasonal, something like that. Whatever it was, I made sure it was seasoned right before I put the sauce on. And then I kind of made it like I used to make barbecue chicken. And then when that was done, I put together like these mashed potatoes where I used plant milk in them. I would just take a big thing of potatoes with the skin, either red or the regular ones, put them in the food processor, put some milk in there, and just do it up, salt, pepper, and it was like I had that mix of that. I had that, and then like some vegetables on the side, like a veggie mix, and I forget what else. But it was like she couldn't believe that it was like that it tasted so good. She came and got more. I had showed her vegan cheese. I think I did like a vegan We did, I don't remember what else, but everything I could think of that she wouldn't believe was vegan. And she loved it, but she went home and still is not vegan. But it's the environment you're in sometimes. It's difficult for her because she lives in a house like, and hasn't found her like complete. She has a lot of whys, but she hasn't committed to it, I think. You know what I mean? And I keep telling her, I want to interview my sister on here. When are you going to do this with me? But it's hard, I know, for people when they go into an environment, which is why I love these Facebook and YouTubes, like what you're doing, showing people your recipe and the struggles in your journey, because you also have people that are not plant-based in the house, and I've gone through periods of time where most people we're around are not doing the same diet, especially um you know uh Angela was saying, like, if she can't have certain things, like if she can't have oats, and then you have to like bring your diet even to a more um
Mhm.
minority type of diet, where like what I'm doing, like I go to like Thanksgiving and I'm eating clementines and grapes and bananas, and everybody else is eating all this other stuff. So it's hard, but like it's not hard after a while. Like I don't know if you found that, where you just kind of settle into it. Like, this is what I do. This is what I eat. When I go to the store, I'm like doing this for my body. I can still have those emotional connections with family. It doesn't change anything. We're still going to hang out. We're still going to have fun. Just, I'm going to eat this and you eat what you want to eat until you realize I'm right. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Good
I
kind of.
have gone to.
We do like to preach sometimes.
I have
But
gone
nobody will say
to.
they have anything wring with them, because I'll automatically say it was the
Huh?
dairy, or it was. Nobody will ever say they have anything wrong with them around me anymore. Because if they say they have a cold, I'm like, it's because your immune system is not good because you're eating all that dairy and meat, right? Whether that or any health condition,
Right.
it's because you're not vegan. But sometimes I'm joking, but most of
I
the time I
know.
really do.
I know because I know somebody um, in the family, that they have this cough and they've been checked for asthma and all these different things. But I've said before, hey, why don't you try 30 days no dairy? Because
That got
dairy
rid of it for me. I've never
will
had
cause
bronchial.
dairy can have that phlegm, that constant, you know,
Hmm.
phlegm, and just give dairy a try. No dairy for 30 days because they like to have the ice cream and who
Switch to
knows?
getting dairies, buddy. Vegan, non-dairy ice cream. They're just as good. I couldn't believe it when I
Yeah,
was
in
like
fact,
still junk food vegan.
and there's a lot of places now that are getting more and more options.
Yeah.
There's an ice cream place over here, and I went there strictly because they had non-dairy ice cream.
Yeah, and Baskin Robbins down here, which is also like Dunkin' Donuts, a lot of them have it in. They have like one or two, maybe, if that. I don't know if they've upgraded to two. Like, you'll still find more creeping up now, though, than you used to. Like, before, it was unheard of that I could even go to Food Lion and get a vegan ice cream, or a local
Yeah.
store. But now even regular places like Dairy Queen, I saw that they
Yes.
have these popsicles, dilly or something they're called,
Yes.
and
The
I'm
dilly
like, oh my
bars.
gosh, they've got those. They've got plant-based ice creams. And
Yeah.
like, so if you are trying, like, even when you go out with family, even if you're coming off your meal plan, if you don't have really big diet restrictions, or you're like me who's trying to be all raw, even all raw, there are people on pages I'm on that make like delicious nice cream, I guess they call it,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
it looks so good. It's just like ice cream, but
Yeah.
basically that's what ice cream is. If you use like something like a bunch of fruits mixed together, you basically have like what we used to eat, frozen ice. Or you can make it with nuts. It tends to be a little more creamy, and you could use a little bit of like plant milk and make like your own it's just amazing. Like people don't realize, even if you have that cheese and dairy addiction that you're afraid of, at least at first, you can transition over. And I think I was saying this before, one of the things before you came on, I don't know how long you were listening, I was talking about when we get, like, for example, like a cut or something happens to us, it'll swell, um, because that's our body. Or we get some kind of allergen in our nose. If we get a bunch of dust thrown up at us, what do? We get mucus and we sneeze, or our eyes water when something gets in it. Our body has a reaction to foreign items that don't really belong in it, any kind of toxin. So if that doesn't tell us why people can get off dairy and all of a sudden their mucus goes away. Like I never wake up stuffy now, that, and I have two cats like that sit on my bed all day. Like, so that would have killed me years ago before this. But now I don't get affected by it. And so it was like the cat might have been contributing to my allergies, but I now realize it was because my body was already having all this mucus in it, and like I don't have seasonal allergies. Seasonal allergies
Right.
I thought were because of the season, not because of dairy, but I was wrong. It's
Right.
like your body is like, what the heck is this? This is some, what, for a baby cow. What in the world are you putting this in me for?
I'm
Just
trying to
like
get
if
rid of it. Quit giving it to me.
you ever heard, like, how people used to give cats dairy milk? Like, you used to see like pictures of cats drinking milk. And I'm sure if you gave it to them, they're going to drink it because they think it's like the milk from their mother. But then you started hearing, oh, cats shouldn't have milk. And at first we all thought, well, I thought it sounded crazy, but cats drink milk when they're little. And then I realized, duh, I'm not giving it cat's milk. Of
Right.
course their body is not tolerating that. It's just like, all this stuff just started becoming like, I just like was mind blown that I had been literally in a matrix for my entire life, and still the food guidelines tell us to have a serving of it. And
Right.
like, it's doing things to people that they should at least be giving them that information, but it's also not widely accepted because you got to understand, we got a lot. I won't say too much on YouTube to cause any fuss, but or any ruckus. But
Did you
I don't
say
want to cause
cuss?
this. Right. It's like, but I just feel so bad that people are still, when I say it, they look at me like, yeah, okay, but they tell me milk does my body good and I need it for strong bones, and they tell me I need meat for protein, and it's like really, I think the biggest thing you can do is study the underlying like mechanisms of the body, and like look into our digestive system, and like don't look at the health line or wherever that first 5 articles that come up sometimes, because sometimes they're paid for by or
Mhm.
sponsored by the meat and dairy. Like a lot of the organizations sometimes are also sponsored websites, you know what I mean? Like I will never sell out like that. If what do you call it? The yogurt people came and said, "Hey, I'll give you $1 million if you stop talking about that milk and dairy are bad," and I wouldn't do it, even though I could use $1 million. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll wait for a vegan company to come along and talk to me about that. But still, like that happens, and if you think about it, it makes sense because there was a documentary where I heard this, and I forget which one, but a man was talking about he was scheduled to go on one of the evening news stations and talk about um, like plant based or something like to that effect. And the actual show itself, or that segment, was sponsored by, I forget if it was either Hormel or one of those companies, and they wouldn't let him come on and say it. They were like, "We apologize, but it contradicts our sponsor." So like I feel like a lot of that is what goes on in the world. And I understand, like, if you're someone who's been a farmer their entire life, or that's how they make their living, it obviously is very difficult to come out of those. That, first of all, the programming we've all received, we've all heard since we were a kid, and you don't want them to not be in business. Like, but I feel like we need alternatives for those organizations, like to how to convert them into a plant-based company, or like, you could do, I've heard of people doing mushroom farming instead of the meat and dairy, a lot of different things, and like just at least one mainstream show. Like we have Unchained TV. I don't know if you watch that, guys that are here, Farah, Angela, and Danny, but there's, and you know what that is, I'm sure, right? Unchained TV. It's a
Uh-uh.
whole vegan network. You got to check it out. You might be able to get on there one day because they have plant-based cooking shows. They have Chef Babette is on there. I think she
Where's
does
it
one.
at?
It's like an app you can get on your TV or your phone. We
Oh,
watched. It's like an actual TV network, but you can get the app on your phone and watch all the shows. They have vegan documentaries on there. I
maybe you
love
should
that.
put it in the chat.
Yeah, I will. Let me try to do that. I don't know if it's a website or how to. Can you
I never
share a
heard of
link?
it.
Oh yeah, I've shared it on the Facebook, but I think it was before you were a member. You didn't meet me until Kathy Hester's show, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And
I might have posted it a long time
what
ago when I.
month was that? October, November?
I'll have to look back, but I think so. Oh, I got it. Watch.unchainedtv.com. Let me put it in the comments. Wait a minute. I'm excited that I showed you this then. And they have a lot of, like, if you want stuff about, you can watch stuff about animal rights, and stuff like that. See if that link works. I don't know if it will. Yep, it works. I just clicked it. It's pretty wild. I watched the story about the guy that went in and rescued these animals and almost went to jail, and like a story. I haven't watched it in a
Uh,
while. I'm glad I
I
said it because I haven't even watched it.
I saw
It's kind of like a
something
Netflix for plant-based people.
awesome. I saw something one time on a documentary where, okay, I'm getting it now, where people tried to go in and some did rescue some animals, but when I was a kid, of course they could have been going to a farm, but I watched that twins documentary and I saw some people, they had the trucks with the animals on it going to
Mhm.
slaughter, and I'm
Oh
thinking,
yeah.
when I was a kid, we would travel during the summer and I'd always see those cattle trucks and
Mhm.
trucks with pigs and chickens, thinking that they were going to a farm, but now I think they were probably going
To
to the
get,
slaughter.
and you're watching them out the window. Did you ever see the interview I did? It's an old one. I might have to reshare it, but his name was Bobby Sudd, Sudd. He actually, that's what he's, one of the things he does. He is a filmographer or like photographer, and he goes to these vigils. He has vigils where outside of the, like when they pull up with the trucks, they like pray to the animals, or like give them, they pet them, and they
Oh,
take pictures, right? He takes pictures, like he's on Instagram, of their face, the way that they, and I mean, if that doesn't like break your heart, if you weren't even vegan, that would have to make you think, even, because people don't think of each individual animal. So, like, I know a lot of times I focus more on the health and plant-based, side of things with the raw diet and everything. But that is another part of it that came from me being in like a lot of vegan groups and meeting a lot of people and doing interviews, was that whole other side of it, where I think that helps me, like, I've never cheated on my diet because it wasn't like, oh, like me having a cookie. And it was more or less like, then it became kind of like ethical for me. Like, no, I wouldn't want to eat an animal like my cat or dog, not my cat or dog, but you know what I'm saying, like any animal at this point, because I start
yeah.
seeing their personalities. And it's like, but it's also like, I do understand people that eat them, because I never ever realized that even when I started this, I was still plant based, where probably in that first 6 months, if I wasn't raw, I would have probably cheated here and there and ate something meat product, because it was more like a diet at that point. So, but of course, I'm not going to eat raw meat. So I was like real
I
strict on my
know.
raw. So it actually helped that I was raw for that first 6 months that let me absorb myself in all this and really strictly kept me away. And I think that also might be why, even when people are going to go whole food plant based, I say to like maybe do 2 weeks or 30 days of, fruits and salads, because that actually can give your taste buds time to reset. So then when you do have something, it tastes good rather than going from, oh, I'm eating like mac and cheese and a bunch of stuff. And then now I'm eating something that's more bland, like some vegetables. Not that your food is bland, like you need to get that spice kit that she was showing us last time. But
Yeah, I I do things pretty simple, you
and I
know.
think people are looking for that. There, I was telling Dawn, I don't know if hers is done, but we're still alive. I'll be on. I said 5 more minutes. Look what I did. I took another 30 minutes, but I will wrap it up here shortly. I promise. I'm addicted to talking about plant based and raw food. Maybe I'll just do a marathon. I'm going to stay on YouTube until I go to sleep every day. I'll get off work, get on YouTube, be like, oh, now I got to eat. That would
This
restrict
is
my diet. Let's see. What is that? Is that a
okay.
salad?
This is last night. This is my spur of the moment throw together because I had cooked lentils. So it's got the lentils, brown rice, spinach, and some corn. And then I used, those little bottles of the salsa that I showed you, that big bundle that I have.
Yeah.
I used the black cherry salsa, and that's all it was.
Oh, nice.
Because that's how simple I do things, is just throw throw it together. I mean, um, this is another one that I did with my meatloaf. I had meatloaf, broccoli, corn, and onions.
That looks good. That's a nice, simple. Even if you had just had the like a potato with broccoli, corn, and onions, that would be like a meal that could fill somebody up, and it's plant based, and you've taken the meat out. But like the potato for a lot of people is, if you're just transitioning, can be like a filling type product. If you're trying to slowly transition into the whole food. And it's about, like you said, like putting a little bit of like your favorite powder, like garlic powder or something on stuff. And that's making me hungry. I'm gonna have to go get my clementines while we're talking.
This one I did was a baked potato with spinach, and I've got a new thing of how I'm cooking mushrooms now. Somebody had told me they put them in the oven and roast them. So what I did is I had, in that bulk, that food that I buy in bulk, you know.
Yeah.
So I had all these mushrooms, okay? And so I froze a bunch of mushrooms. I have the portobello mushrooms and I have some oyster mushrooms. So I was talking to somebody, they roast their mushrooms on I think it's 450 for 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. And so I put parchment paper down, and instead of, you don't thaw them out. If they're frozen, you don't thaw them first. You just go ahead and put them in the oven frozen. So I put the portobello mushrooms and the oyster mushrooms on the parchment paper, and I put it in the oven on 450 for 35 minutes, and it roasts them, and it's totally different texture, and it's, I don't even have to put seasoning on it. It tastes so good.
Oh, really? Yeah, I found once you eat like good for a while, don't you feel like you don't all of a sudden need like as much salt or anything, or even like seasoning that you can put on stuff, or you can use like fresh leaves to season. Like you actually start to like the taste of the vegetables. Like that's like almost strange that when I like eat lettuce, sometimes it's like I don't mind the taste of it, and usually I would have had to douse it in, in dressing. Look, I was talking about simple. I put what I ate yesterday on here, and I'm like, that is simple. Like clementines. Well, I said clementine oranges, so if you can't find them, I ate like 4 or 5 clementines. Then I had my celery juice, and then I had my bananas and daily green boost mix. And then, oh, you know what? After that big salad I had at night, I did end up having another banana or two. I think one. And sometimes I'll have a smoothie. But yeah, that was like, and this is without my new recipe guide coming out. No, I'm just kidding.
I've been keeping track of everything
Well,
I've.
those pictures look good, Diana. That
Uh,
looks really good.
Thank you. I've been keeping track of everything I've been eating on this 30-day reboot.
You should do a little book or ebook with all of it.
Oh yeah.
I bet
See,
people
like,
would buy that if you know what you put in everything, or even give it for free, whatever you want to do. But at least
I want to
all
try
along.
to. I want to try to learn how to do ebooks. But I did have for a snack yesterday. I had a banana and I had an apple with cinnamon, and then I had a banana. See, I don't usually eat till late. Like I wrote down the time I ate yesterday was 12:30. Today it was probably 12 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
before I ate.
Well, I still haven't ate, so you're doing better than me. I'm still drinking tea and stuff.
And so yesterday, for instance, I had one banana. I had 3 small potatoes, which I ended up weighing them just because I'm curious. Even though it's not a requirement to
Mm-hmm.
weigh or track, but I wanted to see what I was getting. So
Right.
those 3 small potatoes were 15 ounces, which equal to 336 calories.
You go. You are mapping it out. And what
And
is can you tell us what that is again? I know you said it last time. What was the reboot? It's no, like, is
it's
there like a specific set of rules?
yeah, it's what Chef AJ calls it's her ultimate weight loss reboot.
Okay, so like if you want to take her recipe, but she puts them like this is the parameters, or is that what she normally eats?
Well, I mean, she does give you a menu and a food guide if you want one, but
But
it's
you
not
took it and
required.
ran with it, I bet.
And but basically she eats, you've heard of the calorie density
Mm-hmm.
where she says eat to the left of the red line.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Okay. Well, the calorie density is so much like um kale, spinach, green beans, all that averages what 100 calories per pound, like broccoli. Then rice, could be 300 to 400 per pound, and potatoes. But then if you start getting over on this side, you've got the more like the tofu has a higher fat content, you
Okay.
know, and nuts and seeds and even avocados. Not that they're not good, it's just a person that's trying to lose weight would want to go for the lower fat,
Right, right.
the
I got
lower calorie density food. So so I've chose since and I didn't even decide to do her reboot until probably this. Oh, it was we had already got into January before I really thought about doing it. But I had already eliminated, well, of course, I eliminated the alcohol back in October. And then, but January,
congratulations again, by the way.
huh? Oh, yes, thank you. So I, January 1st, I decided I'm not going to eat bread. I have not eaten avocados or nuts as far as loose nuts, like to
I know
eat.
what you mean, like
Yeah,
to snack on.
Yeah. So, I mean,
In recipes, you used them.
yeah, because I used it in the lentil loaf. I used walnuts. But as far as just eating them, I'm not going to eat them by the handful
Right.
because those are things I know that I would eat more, you know, like technically they say, like even Dr. Joel Furman, a serving size of an avocado is 2 tablespoons.
Mm-hmm. What?
I couldn't even eat no.
What's a half of a
I
avocado?
would eat the whole avocado.
I eat 4 of
How
them.
I don't care how big the avocado is. I'm going to eat the whole thing,
Yeah,
you know.
because honestly, I mean, I guess like for me, like if you're not eating any fat, I feel like, depending on what you eat, like when you're eating plant based, you don't get a whole ton of fat in it anyway, depending how like your diet goes. But especially for me, when I'm eating like nothing that has fat in it or very low, I don't even know if fruit has any. Maybe a little bit if you ate like a tropical like fruit, like coconut or something, but like which I think is a nut. I don't know. But anyway, like I don't eat any fat really all day, so I'm like I'm gonna eat my avocados at night. But I guess if you're trying to like lose weight, which I'm not trying to lose weight, I get that what she's saying, like minimize the avocado because I guess it is high in fat.
Yeah.
But I'm not eating
So,
two
I'm
tablespoons
just
of it.
choosing yeah. I'm just choosing not to have it right now because I have a lot to lose. So, I think that was hindering my weight loss.
But listen, when we're losing weight, we're gaining knowledge.
So, for me right now, that's what I'm doing for me. And
Mm-hmm.
um so it's those things, eat to the left of the red line. And then of course
Okay.
she does a lot of she recommends having greens or a vegetable at breakfast, or actually eat your greens or vegetables before whatever you eat. So,
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because a lot of
and
people eat like this that's why like I guess they eat the salad before it was used at restaurants to clear your palate, I've heard. But like for me, I think that really when I was on the like 80% raw and doing cooked food too, I would eat everything in one meal at night, but I would eat like my big salad, and that was like a rule I had. I had to eat the whole salad, then I could go to my rice, beans, and cooked meal. And most of the time I was like not all the way full, but I'd be half full so that I knew instead of like eating 4 bowls of beans, or you know what I mean, I was only eating maybe two or one serving of it instead of like, all like, but a couple of times I would be making something and I'd be like wanting to taste on it. And I'd
uh,
notice those nights, if I ate more of the cooked, here goes my salad, I would have like half of it still sitting there. Because that doesn't all of a sudden, if you're eating two things at once, the salad's not going to be as good unless you make like a really good salad, which I did make a good salad, but it wasn't like the cooked food I had. So I had to like
yeah.
become like strict with myself because I always wanted to get all those nutrients in. And like I don't know if you ever seen those pictures of my salads from back when I would make it like on that salad challenge. Like literally it would be like mounds of lettuce, then like I had like almost every vegetable on it, shredded cucumber, and then it was like sprouts piled up to here and
I'm
whatever
gonna have
other
to
vegetables that I've had, like
I need to go back
potato.
and look at your older videos.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You should see some of the older ones. Those were funny. One
But
that my very first live, I didn't come on camera, or a couple of them. I had my logo up, and Dawn had the like JJ her logo up. We didn't even come on camera. I was too scared. But then I had a guest come on, and I had my logo, and she was on film, and like I felt really weird about it because I was like I should probably come on camera because it was probably rude that I wasn't on camera. So I started coming on camera, and then I just got more comfortable, over
I
time.
can understand that because whenever I came on with you, was my very first time ever, and I was so nervous.
Hi.
I can tell you've gotten a lot more comfortable. Hi.
Yes, it this kind of stuff with you makes it more
I like being
comfortable.
on camera.
Good. One day we'll get all kinds of people clicking this link and give them their little first live. We're going to have to get some of those guys that are too. Look, she's not shy. We need to get her own link. Need to get her a little computer with a link so she can come on and tell us about what she ate for the day.
But I'm kind of a little bit of a person that can be obsessive about things. So once I start seeing results, I tighten it up because I want more results.
Yeah, totally get
And
that.
so like right now I have a goal because I'm gonna drive to Texas for spring break in March, the 17th, I think it is, 16th. So I have a goal that I want to lose 14 pounds by then, which that's an average of 2 pounds a week.
Okay.
So that's my
I
goal.
wonder, yeah, because people that do these challenge, like you can, if you go strict like that, I bet you definitely are going to do it. I don't know.
Oh,
Have you checked in lately?
I think I could lose. I remember, well, I used to lose when I was real strict, I would lose at least 10 pounds a month. One time at 2 months when I did the no alcohol and I was real strict with everything, I lost 21 pounds in 2 months. And that
Nice.
was,
I think I lost 50 pounds in 6 months, my very first when I went raw, maybe over 50, because I was like you said, ultra strict. Like I wouldn't even eat something if the nut did not say raw on it. And I was strict with how many nuts I would eat. Like Dawn was laughing at me. I think we've told this story where I looked like I had just ate three pecan pies or something. I came to her and I was like, I just ate 10 cashews. I'm only supposed to have four with my salad or whatever my goal, like my thing was. Because I used to eat cashews on my salad for like, and I'm glad I did that because I realized if I've not, I would have been getting no fat at all, which is not good either. Like, we're supposed to have some fat, in our diet. Not a lot, but especially with me eating nothing, ever.
yeah,
Like, fatty. But if you're that was kind of good because I lost all that weight and I don't know if I jump started my metabolism or what. I've even through all the stuff I keep telling you about the ice creams and the cheesecakes and all that good stuff, I never gained all of it, or I never even got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm getting fat. Like I got to a point a couple times where my jeans wouldn't fit right. And I was like, oh, okay, time to reel it in a little bit. I must be eating way too much, but never got and maybe because I was more mentally disciplined, like I think you are now. Like
yeah,
you have went through diets like I did up to 42, where I would be on a diet for like 2 weeks or a month and I'd see results. And then
mhm,
I would just drift back into my old way of eating. But I feel like when it gets in you, like it's ingrained, like this is the way I'm supposed to eat, and you start becoming passionate, and now you're helping other people, and you have these goals, your mind, I feel like, has become more like stronger to the effect of environmental stuff isn't like hurting. And then without alcohol, we're not making bad decisions at night.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that all like your whole mindset has to change to like make something long term.
Yes, and that's definitely true. It's your mindset because just because, like I said, since the beginning of the year, I tightened things down, but with the Chef AJ reboot, I mean, I fixed the other family members some food and, might have, while I'm cooking, it's things I'm not eating.
Oh, that's right. You
And
didn't lick your finger of the icing, wasn't it?
yes, I wouldn't even lick my
I gotta turn my
finger.
heat off.
I chose to wipe it off on a paper towel
Right.
because
I remember you saying that.
I just didn't want to do it. It would it would
Sorry.
be almost to me like a cheat or something. I don't know.
Right. But that little bit can make a difference because it's like in your mind, even though people will say, like Eli was talking about that. I don't know if you got a chance to catch that one yet that I interviewed. He was saying people are like everything in moderation. But when you start looking at stuff like poison and it's affecting you, you wouldn't want a little bit of poison in your body. And also, like, you have it like set in your mind, like I'm doing this and eating that, even though no one would have known, like
Mm-hmm.
you would have known. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like, you were staying on your plan or your goal. Like I think Kathy, speaking of those guys, they call it like plan, and that sounds similar, kind of almost similar, but without like the starch based to what Dr. McDougall's plan that they're on. Like they look like just like you. They get so into what they're eating and they've got all these things, but there are things that are, if you're on it real strict, in the beginning, if you're trying to lose weight, he recommends not eating this, and this, but like later
Right.
on, he's okay with it. And like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like I think people do different variations of it. Like if I keep eating all these avocados and I see like I come on here one day and you might be like, okay, let's turn the camera off. You're getting a little big. You better slow down on them. You better go back to your tablespoon of avocado. I'll be like, okay, I get it. I come on here and I can't fit in the screen anymore
But I
from
mean,
my
I think
4 avocados a night.
like for you, that's perfectly fine and acceptable because it works for you and you're already, you don't have weight to lose, you
I
know.
love the
So
weight, right? And then I'm not doing something that's going to gain it all back, like going completely the other way. I'm talking about eating an avocado or some nuts, right? Like I'm not
right.
talking about a vegan, like that shipment of raised cookies that I was going to eat all
Yeah,
night.
and I mean, I went to Costco yesterday. Now, I did have a few little samples at Costco, but I don't feel like it was detrimental to me.
It didn't derail you,
It wasn't anything that I didn't buy it to keep in the house. They had vegan cookies. I did, and I didn't even eat the whole sample. I just ate
right?
one little bite,
And
and then
that's
I
when you
gave
know
it.
you're disciplined, when you can do that.
And then they had it was, and I make sure I checked the ingredients on the sample box,
You ever
because
seen those memes where it's like what it means to be vegan, constantly scanning all the ingredients because it's like you have no idea what's in stuff.
well, I think I mentioned it once before. There's an app called Fig, and
Vig.
it's called Fig,
Oh, fig. Okay.
and it's an app that um you specify all the things that you do not want in food. So, say if somebody does have a food allergy, then you list, I cannot have peanuts, I cannot have soy, I cannot have
Oh,
dairy, I can't have meats, and even
I'll
it
be on
even
there for 30 days trying to put all my stuff in.
yes. And I just have the free version, but you can only like search so many in a day or a month or something. I can't remember, but it's like I had already used up
Figures.
my allotted time, so um I have to wait until, but you can pay the premium and just have it all the time. But so you scan the barcode of the product at the store and it tells you if something's in there. It gives you like a green light, a red light if it's something that you can't have, or it'll give you a yellow that, you specify the parameters. And then
Right.
so like you can put in there certain sugars or no sugar or what is acceptable to you, and it'll give you the yellow if if you're okay. But yeah, so
That's cool. And
yeah.
then they've got some that I've heard of that will count your stuff too. Like there's one, I can't think of the name of it. Not chronometer. Is it?
Yeah, I
No,
think
that's
it is something like that.
something like that where it counts you, like if you wanted, man, it sounded really up. There was one too that will, you take a picture of it and it will scan it. I guess it'll know what it is and it tells you how many calories are in it. There was some raw vegans
Hmm.
talking about that one because some people like don't want to continue to lose weight when they're on the raw diet because it's like very low calories and everything, and they will, like if you're going to eat watermelons and you want to get a certain amount of calories, you can take a picture of it and it'll tell you. Or if you want to find out for other people But I really liked what Eli was saying, and you just mentioned it too. That's going to be different for everybody in different parts of your journey. So like sometimes what I'm eating might not be what a new raw vegan would need to eat, because they're trying to fill up on like stuff based on what they've normally been eating. Like, and maybe you're not on the same journey as someone else who's just trying to transition, but they're not having an ultimate, like, this is my goal to lose weight this fast. They might be okay with losing weight over time. So maybe they can transition the other way and eat, well, to the right of the red line, I guess it would be, right, and then dwindle over to the left. But it's cool because I like how everybody's on their own journey and has their own way that works for them. And it's one of the reasons I try to bring so many different diverse people on here. Like whether you want to use the guy that's eating all grapes as an example, or maybe Kathy Hester's McDougall resonates, or maybe Diana's, plant-based version of your, diet that you normally eat, and then the reboot, from Chef AJ might be something. Or maybe you want Sherry's whole food plant-based no salt recipe, or you know what I mean, like Dr. Furman, Dr. Don Bennett, from those two perspectives, like one is raw, one is not. And it's like, hey menu, okay, treats, okay, what's the matter? You don't like that in the way? You need to get out the door. Hold on a second. We're still telling you what you need. I gotta go to the bathroom probably, huh? I didn't mean to shut her in. Where's your brother? Where's Neo? Did I shut him out? I'm surprised he must be napping. These kids. She is like the quietest cat. She'll hide, but if she wants something, I know it's either treats, the water bowl's empty, she needs food, or she's like, I've got her closed in by mistake. I think because I didn't want to disturb Dawn. She was in her meeting, and I was like, I closed the door, but I forgot she was sleeping on the bed. And usually he'll just sleep. So I'm like, why is she getting up, like roaming around, like she looks restless? And then I realized with the uncontrollable screaming at me just now, it's what we were just talking about, how animals communicate. It's like they all have a personality. Do you have dogs or cats? I forget.
No, I don't have any pets right now.
Well, I'm surprised you get away with that with the grandkids.
Yeah, well, I've got these kids, that's enough from right now.
Exactly, right. Not add anything else into the mix that you'll have to clean up.
I think about it sometimes, but
Does your daughter stay there too, or no?
who?
Your daughter, does she cook for you sometimes, or
She's
is
in
she, when
Texas.
she's sharing her recipes? Okay.
She lives in Texas right now. But
Oh, cool. Because I see her recipes too, but you guys look like, I'm like, man, if they're both in the same town, they're probably like sharing each other's dishes.
Well, she's looking to try to move out this way in a few months.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think she's got some really good stuff that she makes. I'm happy for her too. She looks like she's getting that gene from you with the cooking.
Oh yeah. In fact, she was telling me, because she went camping this weekend.
I saw that too. Don't you love Facebook? I feel like I know everybody's life.
She
did a water trail or something. I was wondering what that is.
I've been there. It's called it's in Mineral Wells, Texas, and it's called Crazy Water, and it's from a spring.
No way.
Out there, natural. That they have this. It's mineral water, so it has these different levels of minerals, and they call it crazy water because the more minerals they had in this water, that they seen that some of the people that had mental issues, when they drank this water, it helped them.
Really?
Yeah, you'll have to look it up.
Like over time, I think I've talked about this before, I have a lot of OCD and worry and stuff like that, and I'm like, maybe I need to drink that water. It's helping with the raw food diet. A lot of it is kind of, I find it's more under control, but still, that's probably why I wake up sometimes and can't get to sleep again. And like, those hormones start going crazy and you're worried about everybody and everything. And like your mind starts going, it's like, it is something else. Like I was always, like I said, never really worried. I mean, even if I did worry about something, it wouldn't really affect me day to day. But like it seemed like something around 43 or something, just like I started feeling these changes. Like, and someone's like, "Who is that?" Right? Like, I'm becoming like the worry wart person
I
that
get
always
it.
look and say, "Wait, why do they worry so much, man? Calm down."
But yeah, it's called crazy water. And but she said that after she gets back, she was actually thinking, well, she did just buy the Green Chef all vegan meals. And
Tell her when she comes on here, she's got to send me crazy water.
oh yeah. She she's actually going to do some videos on her YouTube channel of the box of the Green Chef that she got that's all vegan.
Nice.
Um but she's also said that when she gets back, she wants to look into doing a fruit cleanse.
Oh,
Do,
nice. Well,
do
she knows
you
where to come for that.
right? And y'all do a fruit cleanse, right, or something like that?
Yeah, like well, Dawn did like a week of grapes, and I mean, if she wants a real, like, I can refer her to people who have like really good programs like detox. Like Ed Logan does some fruit challenges from Fruit for Your Life, and like um there's the groups that Paul was talking about. He knows a lot, like Orville Douglas. Like a lot of people do different versions of it, but like I've been doing I did only fruit until I added this lettuce and celery for like 3 weeks, and this has just been recent. So I've done a lot of like fruit. Really, the only thing I eat that's not fruit right now is lettuce and celery. So, and avocado is technically a fruit. So I was like, secrets. I don't want to interrupt. Your secret is safe with me. No, I couldn't hear it. Are you? Oh, I thought you were coming on here, Dawn. She must be talking on her live. I'm waiting for her to talk on here because I could hear her voice in the background. She must be on her own YouTube. She got they watched a movie, like a movie that had to do with trading over on this net. Did you know you could do a watch party on Netflix?
Yes.
Is it okay, come over?
She's so adorable. I love it. I love when she makes an appearance. She pops in the side of the screen like we can't know she's coming.
You could do a watch party. I've seen that. I've never done that.
She has to bring me free avocados if she wants to come in the screen again from your store. Tell her that. I'll send my address, even though things I order sometimes never get to me. Just had some the vitamins I ordered. We ordered. They were say delivered in the mailbox. I think it was the B12, but they're not in there. So like this has happened 3 times this year that stuff says delivered, and then I look like a liar when I'm calling the post office. Like, well, it says delivered to your address. Well, I'm not sure where he put it, but it wasn't in the mailbox. My neighbors don't have it. I'm like, I'm not lying about it. I think it was something crazy like that last time, but I didn't even mess with it last time. And it got to me almost 30 days later. It truly got delivered, but the tracking had said it was delivered. This was like November, so I know they were crazy with the holidays and like
Oh wow.
used to do delivery. So I get how it can get overwhelming if they have the whole world's mail. But I'm like, don't mark it delivered. That's rude. And we have like an apartment building where the main door is not unit 270 where I am. Oh God, I just told everybody where I was. Don't all come and get autographs later. What if I walk out my door to like go to the store tomorrow and there's like all these reporters and my big 300 subscribers, all 300 are standing out there. We want vegan olives, JJ. I'm dreaming, right?
Hey,
I
that's the
probably
way
would
to.
stand there if I ever did write some like great book or something that people really resonated with. I probably would sign 500 people's books at once. I would be obsessed with something like I'm always so appreciative of like every person that clicks subscribe or comes on the vegan knowledge group or the YouTube. It's like I truly am like thankful that people are watching our stuff. Oh, and Angela said she's subscribed. I don't know if you get
Oh, great.
notifications on YouTube. Yeah. So well, as I grow, you'll get even more subscribers, right? Because we'll have
Right.
your
I last time I looked, I had 27.
there you go.
But
That's good.
my Instagram has grown a lot.
Yeah, Instagram and TikTok. I don't know. You do any TikTok work?
I need to. I haven't because the little
It's
one
like
always gets on there.
I didn't like realize, but I got 3,000 subscriber or whatever they call those followers, I guess, when I went on there in like I haven't been doing it lately because and why did I stop? I don't know. Maybe I could have had 5,000 by now. But I got into YouTube. I wanted to focus on one thing and I found that YouTube kind of was I liked the way I could have the audience of people who wanted my content, if that makes sense. Like TikTok was so when I was doing TikTok, they had these things where people could request a battle, like random people where it was good because a lot of people were coming under there, but it was strange. Like there wasn't the people that were necessarily interested in a plant-based diet. It was just really random. But I think now they've have it so you can schedule your live streams. You can probably somehow make sure it's people interested in your content. And now I'm thinking, well, if that many people were watching, maybe like 1% of them would have helped them in some way. So I'm going to try to get back into it because I've heard a lot of people say they were able to grow their YouTube via TikTok. I think Dawn was
Right.
talking about that with her boss, like they or her coach, they have like you can go on there and because it has such a wide range, you can say, hey, go over and like go on my YouTube because I like YouTube because eventually they have where you can do a membership. People can join a membership and stuff like that, and like you can build it more like a community, like the lives and stuff, and you can have people talk. But I guess you can do it on. I'm just old school, like I felt like TikTok was like the kids thing, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm hearing people are really growing their following with it, so maybe I shouldn't have, but it was so much easier. Like YouTube I feel like is the hardest to grow for some reason for me. Like even though that's what I do the most, it seems like
Uh-huh.
the Facebook group has more members on it than my YouTube. And so I'm and I know the more people, it's not for like ego reasons. For the reason I want is because I know how, like I found this through YouTube. So like I feel like I want to be in the algorithm so more people can hear about you and hear about the interviews I'm doing and like put out there that people are changing their life. And the more subscribers you have and the more comments and the more viewing time, the higher you go. So like if someone types in, vegan, I want an interview to come up that I did rather than like I'm like, how it is on Google. I'm probably at the bottom of the list. So I appreciate everyone who's here. If you're watching this, subscribe. If you've hung out with us this long, you might as well subscribe. You must like something we said.
Yeah,
And
and that's
subscribe
my
to Diana. Wait, you must have more than that now, though, because you have too good of content.
I mean, I'm like you. It's about helping people and getting them aware, and me, I feel like, it's important because I see how food is medicine to your body, and it's just and I'm pretty simple. I mean, I've always liked to cook and things, but I've always been one too that I don't like to drag it out. I like to,
And
I
if
mean,
you have a recipe that's too complicated, people are gonna like. I used to do that with cooking shows. I'd start watching it, and then they'd come up with some weird thing that I wouldn't know where to get, like Oscalopsis leaf or something. And I'm just making up a word now.
yeah,
Um, like
I've had those before. No, I'm kidding.
the leaf of a some tropical tree that I wouldn't know what it is or some weird thing, and I'm like, or it would get too much, like you said, like half tablespoon of this, one dash of this, one dash of this, and you haven't
I
even gotten
know.
past the dip that's for it. And I was like, okay, this is too complicated. So I love what your meals are, because they are like simple, they're vegan, and they're healthy. Simple, healthy, vegan on a budget. Wait a minute, I'm coming up with a name for your cooking.
Yeah, I mean, if it's really got a lot of detail, a lot of work, a lot of steps, that's, oh, let this sit for 20 minutes before this. I like to get it done. I mean, that's one thing is I remember because my dad, he was a cook and he taught me a lot and he taught me how to make gravy back in the
Hmm.
day. But still, I ended up making my gravy a little different method than he did because he would do his slow, and turn it up. Me, I turned my heat up, boiling it, turn up the heat, then I would turn it down because, I have a little impatience sometimes when
Yeah, those slow, like slow cooked meals, right? Like that's why that day my sister was here and I was making that tofu. The reason was because I was like conversating with her and Dawn, and I was doing. I had, like it wasn't just me in the kitchen after I had worked all day and I've crammed that I need to make dinner and eat within an hour and a half and go to bed to be up on time. Then I don't feel like making something that's, like, people say if you make something from scratch, it's better than heating in the microwave and all that. But I was always like, I got to a point one time where I was running so late all the time that I was just cooking everything in the microwave, like even my broccoli or my potatoes or anything. And I'm like, I realized I was probably getting radiation or something from that.
yeah,
One
so
little thing is here and there is okay, but like literally, I was doing like almost ready to have a show called Microwave Meals.
right. Yeah, so I do a lot of easy things, um a lot of
But they're like easy, but they also look like they could be complicated. So I think that's cool why when you describe how you do it, like looking at those pictures you put up, I wouldn't have guessed it was like 10 ingredients.
yeah, and I mean that meatloaf or lentil loaf that I made was so easy. Didn't take much time at all. I mean, yeah, you had to chop up, you know, carrot, celery, and onion, but
Hmm.
I mean, you can even buy that probably chopped and ready to go. Um, and I put it in the food processor. I did the carrots that way in the food processor. I really liked the way
Hmm.
they turned out. Um, but since I was on the phone, actually, see, I do a lot of stuff when I'm in the kitchen. Like I'll have you up, I'll have video up,
Really?
I'll have my stuff while I
Oh,
listen to stuff all the time.
I feel
What
so important now.
I mean, I've watched some of your lives when I'm in the kitchen doing things and I'll put my phone in there and have it, over here while I'm chopping and
Right.
sometimes
Sometimes I don't realize, like you always comment, but there are people who watch and don't comment sometimes, I've realized. You know what I mean? Like, I just realized sometimes I'm like, okay, there's no way it's 50 views. I didn't have 50 people here. So sometimes people may be either catching a replay or they might not be like me where I have to comment when I go to a YouTube live. I just can't
yeah,
help
me too.
myself.
I
Like, I
mean,
want to drive here.
I like the community. I like
Me
the
too.
interaction, you
Chef
know.
AJ has like a whole reunion on there when I go on hers. Like there are so many people I recognize, people that come over here and people that
Yeah.
are on Facebook and people that are
And
on other YouTube channels.
and then like through Chef AJ's,
Uh-huh.
because I've always comment in the chat that I have found there's several people out here in Phoenix. And so one of the ladies currently, she lives up north, I think in Washington, like right now, but she lives here also. She goes up there during the summer or something. Anyway, she's coming back here in a few weeks. So we've talked about getting together. And then another one lives probably a 45, half an hour, 45 minutes from me. We're planning on getting together. And I told her about that fruit and vegetable place because, like, just a week or so ago, now they're offering boxes of fruits and vegetables. Like I just bought a box, and I think I posted it also on my Instagram. The box of food I got for $30. I don't
Oh,
know.
nice. I
Are
think
you
I
on
saw
my
that.
Instagram?
I'm on Instagram. I'm gonna go on and make sure I follow you right now, but I don't go on there as like I should. That and TikTok I've kind of let in. Like
Because
the last thing, just to give you an idea, that I posted on there was, well, I did. I couldn't believe it. Like I'm random with what I post. I did post Ann Osborne's. I was going to be on YouTube, and you know how much stuff I posted on Facebook since Ann Osborne. You're on my Facebook. Like I'm just like the group is like what my main focus, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Instagram, and then I'm like, I need to set it up so that I do that all at once and stop
yeah,
because
because when
I
I
only have
post on
how many
Instagram,
followers
it
you have on
automatically
Instagram?
posts to Facebook.
How many do you have? You said now,
On
like roughly,
Instagram?
yeah, like thousands.
No, 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 no. Gosh,
But
no.
it's better
I'm
than
I'm
growing
under
another.
I'm under 300, but
Yeah, me too.
when I started really doing stuff a few months ago, I had 156. Now I've got 220 something, I
Oh,
think.
nice. Yeah, you have more than me. I need to start posting my Instagram so we can get all this out there on all of
And
them, right?
I don't really know how to get out there, so to speak. So I use a lot of hashtags because I think that it's relevant
Yeah,
to, if I'm cooking
that's a
something
good
about
idea.
beets, I'm going to hashtag beets or veggie cooking or veggies. I always put plant based or vegan,
What are you on
sometimes,
Instagram?
huh?
Are you Diana Varner or are you like Diana Plant Based? What do I look you up under?
I
Or
think,
Diana Loves Plants?
no, it should be plant based dye.
Okay. Plant Based DI?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I found you. I've followed you.
So
Oh, I see that meatloaf.
I even put the link in there to the recipe that where I got it from.
$30. I got the food order. Look at this. I know everything now. Oh, you were
Because
just
I
on
use
Marquita not
Instagram.
that long ago.
Yeah. I post my food. I feel like Instagram is a place where I can post all my pictures. If I try not to bombard Facebook with it because I feel like it's a different kind of platform, and
Different platform, yeah.
I'll post every once in a while to it, but I feel like, it's so funny. You hear people, oh my gosh, she's posting her food again. It's like,
Who
but
cares? I think
it
some
seems
people
more
want to see it like we
acceptable.
want to see it on the vegan knowledge group. We want to see it because I think it helps so many people that the main thing people say is what do you eat? Whether somebody's interested in my diet or what the way that you eat or anybody's plant-based version, they love seeing it because it gives them an idea. It plants in their head that this is what you could have. So it's not as
Right.
foreign because like a lot of people on that page are not, there are people I invited from like my pre-vegan life, that probably some of them have transitioned, but most of them are just kind of on there, I think, to like, it was on there to give me encouragement in the beginning. Now I have more people that come to the page like from here and different things, but in the beginning, and those people are still on there. So like I feel like if I'm starting to get in their head, but they're like, ew, everything would taste bland or nothing would look good. And then they see like a recipe and, like that's why, and I might end up creating a little like like a channel that I can do for raw, you know, vegan, like frugivore, because I don't want to constantly bombard only my stuff either, which is why I'm so happy that I can still post that, but I have like you guys to come on and post recipes since I'm not eating that way, because I think there's a lot of new people who wouldn't want to transition all the way from, regular diet to my kind of diet. So I feel like that helps people in all ways of transition, even when people post the possible meal or whatever on there, it lets people
Yeah.
know, Because vegan junk food, like if I'm doing it for animals, I might not be one of the people that care about, oh, how many calories or how much fat is in this. I just want to eat. I don't want to eat an animal anymore. So, hey, here you go. Here's some vegan ice cream you can have. You know what I mean? So I feel like the page was designed just to tell people about veganism, to post documentaries, to post who's healing, how better you feel, post recipes. So I love that variety.
She just pulled that up on my phone. She's on my phone.
Look at her advertising for you. Is that Instagram?
It's
it's
YouTube. It's this.
YouTube. Oh wow! Look, we're famous.
She's watching it on YouTube.
That's pretty cool. We're on two different. I'm watching it on YouTube too. Well, that's the Instagram, but I was watching us on YouTube. Yeah. So that is so funny.
She's commenting.
Oh, nice. Let me read your comment. Let's put it on the screen. Oh, wait, look, it's Diana. Oh, I bet I know who that was. Someone said hi. Do you see your comment on there? Now it's on the screen under
Don't bombard it, honey.
That's okay. Look, she'll make us higher in the algorithm. Like, look, we got the most comments on YouTube today.
All right.
I got like probably a few more minutes. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom, and this water's going through me, and I have to eat, and I have to hang out with Dawn and watch her like shows tonight. So I gotta get all my stuff together, and I know you've got things to do.
I've got my chickpeas in the Instant Pot. I gotta go get out. And
I was just thinking, man, I think I've been on here for 3 hours, but that's seeming to be a thing with me. Like
you're starting to be like Kathy Hester.
Right. Like 2 days ago, I was on here with Eli. Remember that? I don't know if you had a chance to pop in on that one. We started at 6:30 and I didn't get off till 9. And then yesterday's Paul, we were on, let's see, he started at 6:32 because he had some technical issue getting on. So it was 6, but we started 6:30, didn't get done till 8-ish, like 10 maybe. And now I came on today, and thankfully you popped on, so I haven't been rambling just me this whole time. And now we've been on here for, this is the longest one though. See, when the Capricorns get talking, we don't give up. But this is good because I think we gave a lot of good information. They got to hear my little diabetes talk in the beginning and my raw plug, and then they got to hear all the good recipes. Angela, I know, right? I have to go to like literally to the bathroom. She said it was wonderful. Thank you so much, Angela. I didn't know you were still here hanging out with us. Don't forget to email me, JJ Vegan. Oh, I saw you joined the group. That's okay. I will make sure I get you all that stuff now that I've been promising you. Thank you so much. We're going to get her some dressing recipes, what I eat in a day. We are going to get you healthy if you're not healthy. If you are, we're going to get you healthier. And
yes, please interact.
I really appreciate you, Angela. We both do. Thank you for subscribing.
And feel free to message me for questions or, anything.
Definitely.
And I'll be working on that French dressing recipe.
Nice. I'm going to have to come up with a dressing. Oh, okay.
Get some football on tonight.
Watch okay, cool. I got you. I'm gonna get some. What am I gonna have? Clementines and football. Not everybody's traditional football food. We don't need nachos. We got grapes and what else? Bananas. All right. Thank you, Diana. I really appreciate you.
All right.
Can you enjoy anything you want to say in closing? Your message.
Oh well, just keep hanging in there, and every day is a new day, and just like I said before, just one meal at a time, one day at a time.
Yes, and that is a perfect message to go out and go like Diana's channel. Thank you. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and tell us about your plant-based journey. Tell us if you have any questions. Angela, thank you for coming on, and we are talking about how we can make amazing transformations. I think I should end them that way, but that sounds a little cheesy, and I don't eat cheese. No, but thank you guys. And my message is Yes, have the energy,
I was
let
gonna
your
say,
body heal itself. I love it. Go ahead, Diana,
make
take it
your
out with it.
transformation today.
I love it. Yes. Your transformation. And also, I'm very grateful for everyone. Thank you for coming on and joining me. Thank you, J&J Video, Dawn, for always coming on with me, and all of everybody that was here. Thank you, Farah, Danny, who else was here, and all the Vegan Knowledge group that always comes, like Michelle, Muriel, Mona is always coming on. Tessa, thank you. You're always here on the live stream, and you'll probably catch the replay. I'm sure. I'm forgetting. Richard is a new guy that came on last night. Thank you. And Marakita, thank you. Maybe she can join next time. Happy birthday, James, to her significant other. So she couldn't be on, but she was telling me it was his birthday, and she tried to make this really good looking pie. So she'll have to share that on the Facebook page. And Diana, share those recipes with us. Dawn, congratulations on your 2 weeks raw vegan. Woo!
Right.
The bell, we'd use it in here. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Ding, ding.
Thank you for everything. Have a wonderful evening, and we appreciate you all. And I'm just going to say thank you one